Chapter 1233. P.S. Here's today's update. And at the same time, I'll help Chidian 515 Fan Festival to get more votes. Everyone has 8 votes, and you can even get some coins for voting. Shimin Feng looked at his sister who was taking out a spirit fruit and eating it, and smiled. The others were smiling too, and at the same time, they felt sorry for her. She used to be an all-powerful person, but now she had to eat every day. Although they knew it was temporary, but they still felt sorry for her. Sima Yue saw that everyone was looking at her, the spirit fruit in her hand, and said helplessly, "I've been hungry recently, and eating pills makes my mouth tasteless. Just ignore me." "Cough cough, sister, are you here for something?" Shimin Feng asked. "I finished reading the information that Old Bai sent over, and heard that you were having a meeting today, so I came over to listen," Sima Yue said. "So much information, you finished reading it all?" Baixing asked curiously. That was 2 stacks of account books and information that were almost 1 meter tall. And she finished reading it all in 2 days? "I finished reading it," Sima Yue said. 2 days it's enough. Pervert. Baixing cursed silently in his heart. The second day after he came back, the information was sent over, and he took 4 to 5 days to finish reading it. Then, he gave it to Shimin Feng for 5 to 6 days. And when it was finally in her hands, she finished reading it in 2 days. But thinking about it, her mental strength was so strong, and reading 10 lines at a glance was a piece of cake, so she finished it quickly. She had always been a pervert. Since sister has finished reading the account books and information, do you have any thoughts? Shimin Feng asked. Thoughts I do have a little, Sima Yue said. First of all, I have to praise Old Bai for finding Lu Liangkai to manage the business. He's indeed a talent. In the 20 years that we were gone, he actually doubled the value of our shops. Although we have the support of the Alchemist Guild, Divine Devil Valley and Qin family, but without his leadership, we wouldn't have achieved such results. Lu Liangkai is indeed a business genius. Shimin Feng agreed. We really have to thank Old Bai for this. Lu Liangkai used to be from Bloodfiend City, and was old acquaintances with Old Bai. Back then, when Old Bai was looking for someone to manage the business, he had used him. Sima Yue and the rest did not know him at first. When they saw him, they saw that he was thin and small and wondered if he could do it. But because they believed in Old Bai, she and Shimin Feng didn't object. He didn't expect to give them such a surprise as soon as he came back. Oh yeah, why didn't I see him? Sima Yue asked. He went out 2 days ago, saying that something happened at East Ridge. Bai Sheng frowned when he said this. Shimin Feng kept looking at him. Seeing him frown, he asked, "What's wrong?" Before Liang Kai left, he said that the situation there was a little strange. It seemed that something had happened in that city, but he said that he didn't know the exact situation, and there wasn't any news back these 2 days. Bai Sheng said, "Then you should pay attention to the situation over there. If there's anything you need, the sect will fully support you," Shimin Feng said. "Yes, Valley Lord," Bai Sheng replied. At this moment, everyone didn't know what had happened at East Ridge. They also didn't know that the situation over there would be so serious. No one took the situation here to heart, including Bai Sheng. Other than praising Lu Liangkai, does sister have any other thoughts? Shimin Feng asked. You guys are having a meeting. I'll just listen in, Sima Yue said. We're discussing how to deal with Yinyang Palace and Zhongzheng clan, Shimin Feng said. Their people were completely annihilated in the Immortal Land. Both parties' people outside didn't stay idle either. Everyone thought that Zhongzheng clan would be exterminated. But no one knows where they got support from. They actually fought with Yinyang Palace for so many years, and they still haven't been exterminated. Shimin Feng didn't know how much Sima Yue knew about Zhongzheng clan and Yinyang Palace's situation, so he explained it briefly. Sima Yue only saw the information about Yinyang Palace and Zhongzheng clan's shop. She didn't know about these things. Hearing Shimin Feng's words, she thought about the power that couldn't be exposed in the inner regions. In the recent decades, there were many things related to that power. So when it came to the unknown power supporting Zhongzheng clan, she subconsciously thought of that. What kind of power was that to keep interfering in these matters? What was their motive? Vice Valley Lord, what do you think? Feng Kai's voice pulled her out of her deep thoughts. She then realized that her spirit fruit had been placed beside her mouth. She put down the spirit fruit and said, I think that since they're fighting like dogs, then we shouldn't be in a hurry to fight them. And according to what you said just now, Zhongzheng clan has someone supporting them. Yinyang Palace should have someone behind them too. Otherwise, they wouldn't be in a stalemate with the power behind Zhongzheng clan for so long. We think so too. Then what should we do next? Since our business has developed so well, then we should start nibbling away at their shops. Sima Yue said. I believe that this shouldn't be difficult for you, right? Feng, or what do you think? Actually, before you came, we've already discussed this for a while. Shimen Feng said. The result of our discussion is similar to what you think. We plan to start from the business and nibble away at their foundation. Since you've already discussed it, why are you still asking for my opinion? Sima Yue glared at everyone. Aren't we waiting for your opinion? Feng Kai said, since everyone agrees to do this, then we can start drafting the execution plan. The term execution plan was taught to them by Sima Yue when she showed them the plan to establish their power. I think we should wait for Lu Liangkai to come back. Sima Yue said, you guys don't have such a sensitive business sense like him. You also don't have such a thorough understanding of the two powers economy. That's true, Baisheng said. Let's draft the initial plan first and wait for Liangkai to come back. Sure. At this moment, a guard came in and bowed to Shimen Feng and the rest, saying, Valley Lord, there's someone outside Heartbreak Valley who claims to be from the Armament Masters Guild. He wants to see Vice Valley Lord. Someone from the Armament Masters Guild wants to see me? Sima Yue was stunned. She thought of Xiaohong and said, give him a one-time use antidote and bring him in. Yes, Vice Valley Lord. The guard retreated and soon he brought a man in. I'm Xiao Yi, Mrs. Guard. Xiao Yi came in and bowed slightly to Sima Yue. After introducing himself, he said, Miss Yue, my miss asked me to bring you something. It's going to be 515 soon. I hope to continue rushing to the 515 red packet ranking. On the 15th of May, the red packet reign will reward the readers and promote the works. It's love too. I'll do my best. Chapter 1234. P.S. Here's today's update, and at the same time, I'm trying to get votes for the Qidian 515 Fan Festival. Everyone has 8 votes, and you can even get some coins for voting. Xiaoyi took out a box. Sima Yue opened it and saw an invitation and a sound stone inside. Sima Yue helplessly looked at the sound stone. She had to insert spirit energy to listen to it. She didn't have any spirit energy, so she couldn't even open it. She helplessly passed the sound stone to Dai Yi. Sorry to trouble you. She suddenly thought of something and turned to ask Xiao Yi. She didn't say that I can only listen to it when I'm alone, right? Xiao Yi was stunned. He thought about it and said, no. That's good. Dai Yi, come on. Sima Yue said. Dai Yi infused his spirit energy into it, and Xiao Hong's voice came out. Yue, did you miss me after being apart for so long? Oh my god, I really missed you. I think that since I missed you so much, you must have missed me too. Hee hee, cough cough. Sima Yue glared at them. These guys were making fun of her again. I know that you miss me too, but you're so busy, so you definitely don't have time to play. But you can't reject what I want to tell you today. Xiao Hong's voice continued. Do you see the invitation in the box? This is the invitation to my father's succession ceremony. I'm officially inviting you to attend. This invitation was personally written by my father, so you can't reject it. Then we'll meet in 2 months. I'm looking forward to it. Xiao Hong's voice ended here, and the sound stone returned to normal. Sima Yue picked up the invitation and opened it. It said that He Chundong's succession ceremony would be held in 2 months. She and Heartbreak Valley's people were invited to attend. She put down the invitation and said, we'll accept this invitation. We'll definitely be there on time. But I'm a little curious. You just came out of Immortal Land, so why are you in such a hurry to hold the succession ceremony? Although Xiao Yi did not know why Sima Yue wanted Dai Yi to activate the sound stone, he had heard a lot about how powerful Sima Yue was from the people who came back from the Immortal Land, so he had some understanding of her. Even if they didn't really believe that she was that powerful, the changes in Xiao Hong's body couldn't lie. The moment she returned from the immortal land, they noticed her changes. Because the change was too obvious. It's like this. Some time ago, our president was robbed and killed. Xiao Yi said. Now that the union is without a leader, they are anxious to let the vice president take over. Your guild leader was killed? When did this happen? Everyone present was shocked. There was no news of this at all. Just a few months ago, Xiao Yi said. I've tried a few times before, but I've never succeeded. But this time, do you know who did it? Shimin Feng asked. There are some clues, but I'm still investigating, Xiao Yi replied. Sima Yue and the rest could tell that this was the official answer. This meant that this was internal information, and it was not convenient for them to reveal it. Everyone was a smart person, so they were able to understand this point. You came all the way here, just stay with us for 2 days. Let an E and the rest accompany you for a drink, Sima Yue said now. The people in the union have always been curious about Heartbreak Valley. Since Miss Yue invited me, it would be impolite for me to refuse. Xiao Yi replied. Feng Kai, Shi Chun, and Yi, the 3 of you accompany the guest to walk around the valley and have a good drink. Sima Yue gave them a look, and they immediately understood. Yi stepped forward and put his arm around Xiao Yi's shoulder. He smiled and said, Big brother Xiao, no outsiders have come to our Heartbreak Valley. Let me tell you, the scenery here is beautiful. Others don't have the chance to see it. Then I'm really lucky, Xiao Yi said. Of course. Let me tell you, besides the beautiful scenery, we also have good wine. You know the fruit wine in Memory Restaurant, right? You can drink whatever you want. You can drink as much as you want. After you're done, you can even bring some back for your friends. Yi and the rest brought Xiao Yi and left. Sima Yue prepared to keep the invitation and Soundstone. Vice Valley Lord, can I take a look at this invitation? Baixing asked. Sure. Sima Yue threw it, and the invitation flew into Baisheng's hands. Even without spiritual energy, this was a piece of cake to her. After Baisheng received the invitation, he looked at it carefully. Old Bai, what's wrong with this invitation? Fengji was sitting below him. Seeing him looking at the invitation repeatedly, he asked. I heard that the Armament Master Guild's invitation is divided into different grades. I want to see what grade Vice Valley Lord's invitation is. Baixing said. Oh, what grade is mine? Sima Yue was curious too. Although it's not the highest grade invitation for special guests, it's still an important guest. Baixing said. Seems like He Qindong values you quite a lot. Although it was written that he was inviting her and Heartbreak Valley's people, but everyone could tell that he was inviting her and Heartbreak Valley's people. If not, she wouldn't be in front of Heartbreak Valley. Boss, who are you planning to bring along? Dai Yi asked. Anyone who wants to go can go. How about it? Do you want to follow me to take a look at the Armament Master Guild Master's succession ceremony? Sima Yue smiled and asked. Ugh, forget it. We're not interested in that kind of occasion at all. Hong Wu and the rest shook their heads. Moreover, we have too many enemies. If we go, we might bring you trouble. I'm not going either, Yu Si said. You're really not going. It's not like we haven't seen how He Qindong looks like. This kind of occasion isn't suitable for us. Fengji said. That's right. Sima Yue shrugged her shoulders and said. All right, you've all seen the world. You're different from us. I'll bring my friends who haven't seen the world like me. You want to bring Bei Gong Tang and the rest along? Shimin Feng asked. I'll go back and ask them to see if they're willing to go. If they're not willing, I'll go by myself. Sima Yue said. I'm worried about the few of you. Shimin Feng said. The Armament Master Guild Master's succession ceremony will definitely invite many powers. At that time, the mermaids will be mixed together. You don't have any spiritual energy now. If anything happens, they won't be able to protect you. I still have the guards that my master gave me, Sima Yue said. They're all in the little realm. You don't have any spiritual energy. How are you going to open the little realm? Sima Yue was stunned. That's right, how could she forget about this? Luckily, Wu Lamai and Shui Qingman had already brought little 11 back. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to come out if they were locked inside. As for the Feng clan's guards, they were living quite well inside. If that's the case, Old Bai will go with me? You're so powerful. You'll definitely be able to protect me. Right, Old Bai? Sima Yue looked at Bai Sheng, who was in a daze, and said with a smile. She had never seen Old Bai like this before. If he agreed, there might be a good show to watch. It's going to be the 515 red packet soon. I hope to continue charging into the 515 red packet list. On the 15th of May, the red packet reign will be able to reward the readers and promote the works. This is love too. I'll definitely do my best. Chapter 1235. Bai Sheng's expression was a little strange. He hesitated and said, "Since you said so, then I'll go with you." "Good. It's settled then." Sima Yu kept the things away and said, "I'll leave the rest to you guys. I'm going to ask Fatty and the others for their opinions. Please search to see the most complete. It's the fastest." "Okay, you go," Shimin Feng said. Her purpose in coming here was to tell them that it was not the right time to use force to suppress them. They had to take economic measures. Now that she knew that they were thinking the same way, she decided to continue being a hands-off boss. If it was someone else, they might not understand. But they all knew how busy and tired she was. They couldn't wait for her to rest more and not worry about these things. Even the account books were sent to her at her request. After she left, they continued their discussion, but she didn't need to worry about the rest of the plan. That room was full of smart people. When she returned to the courtyard, she smelled the aroma of food. She had just eaten a spirit fruit, but when she smelled the aroma, she felt the gluttony in her stomach come out again. She pushed open the courtyard door and entered. When she arrived at the kitchen, she saw Bei Gong Tang cooking inside. Wei Ziqi and the others were chatting at the table. When they saw her, they smiled and greeted her. Sima Yue leaned against the door with her arms crossed in front of her chest. She looked at everyone and felt as if she had returned to the time when they had just met in the Capital Institute. Back then, they often cooked in the small kitchen in the courtyard. It was just that the person in charge of cooking at that time was her, and not the current Bei Gong Tang. In the blink of an eye, 30 to 40 years had passed. "Do you still remember when we first met?" she asked emotionally. "How could I not remember?" Wei Ziqi said. "Fatty's nose is the most sensitive. When you were cooking in the kitchen, he immediately became entangled." "I've never been immune to food," Fatty Chu said. "Yue, your cooking smells so good. At that time, we weren't on very good terms. Every time I think of your cooking, I'm dying of hunger. But I didn't dare to look for you, afraid that you'd beat me up." "Are you afraid of being beaten up or losing your virginity?" Sima Yue walked over and sat down. "Back then, when you saw me, you looked like you wanted to eat me up. If you really want to eat me up, I'm definitely willing right now." Fatty Chu raised his chin as he spoke, looking as though he was ready to be trampled upon. "Go away." Wei Ziqi knocked his head, not allowing him to take advantage of Sima Yue. "However, at that time, your reputation was indeed not good. It was normal for everyone to be afraid of you," Ouyang Fei said. "Then why don't you guys look scared?" Sima Yue took out her bowl and chopsticks and started eating. At that time, Ouyang and Bei Gong were like 2 blocks of ice. "If it wasn't for my passion, how could I have melted your ice-cold hearts?" Fatty Chu said proudly. "You're really shameless. Was it you who melted their hearts back then?" Wei Ziqi didn't want to talk about him anymore. It was true that the older one got, the thicker his skin became. Although we weren't familiar with each other at that time, it was still very good. "It's hard for us to come this far," Sima Yue said. Sima Yulin sat at the side, drinking tea and listening to their conversation. He couldn't get involved in the matters of the Dongqin kingdom, but he was willing to listen. "All right, I have something to discuss with you guys," Sima Yue said as she took out the Armament Masters Guild's invitation. "Invitation? Who invited us to play?" Fatty Chu asked. Wei Ziqi opened the invitation and read out the contents. "The Armament Masters Guild invited you to participate in the succession ceremony." "Yes," Sima Yue said. "They aren't going with me. Do you guys want to go? Sure. Fatty Chu agreed without thinking. He liked it when there was a good show to watch. Who do you plan to bring? Sima Yulin asked. Only Old Bai. Sima Yue said. Initially, I didn't want Old Bai to go. After all, he has a lot of things to do in the valley. However, I saw that his expression was a little different when he saw the invitation. I think that he has something on his mind, and it has something to do with the Armament Masters Guild. That's why I brought him along. There's no one else? There's no one else. Also, it depends on whether or not you guys want to go. Sima Yue said. Of course we'll go. This kind of worldly experience can increase our experience. Fatty Chu said. What about you guys? Sima Yue asked the others. We're all one. If you guys go, we'll naturally go too. Wei Ziqi said. However, we're not strong enough. You can't use your spirit energy now. Wouldn't it be too dangerous to only bring Old Bai along? Although I can't use the little realm, I can still use the spirit pagoda. The elders of the bird clan are all there. If anything happens, I can just call them out. Sima Yue said. If that's not enough, it's useless to bring a few more people. Everyone thought about it and agreed. If those elders couldn't solve it, it would be useless to bring more people. I think I need to prepare more thunderbolt bullets. If it really can't go on, there are still thunderbolt bullets that can resist for a period of time. Fatty Chu said. Alright, prepare more. Anyway, this thing can be used at any time. It's better to be prepared. Sima Yue said. I can use the method on the manual to refine it, and see if it can improve. Fatty Chu said. Once I think about it, I can't stop. Yue, let me in quickly. I want to do it. Fatty Chu had always done whatever he wanted to do. Now that he wanted to use the new method to refine thunderbolt bullets, his heart was itching. Sima Yue understood his character, and kept him in the spirit pagoda. At the same time, Feng Kai, Shi Chun and Anian Yi brought Xiao Yi to walk around the outskirts of Heartbreak Valley. Seeing those poisonous creatures and miasma, and thinking that they had actually built a sect here, they thought highly of their power. From what he knew, no one had been able to stay here for a long time. They were the first in history. Seeing those poisonous creatures either fearful or friendly towards them, he felt that it was too amazing. They brought him to a cliff. From here, they could see the sunset. The scenery was not bad, so they stopped here. How can such a beautiful scenery not be accompanied by good wine? Shi Chun took out 4 bottles of fruit wine. The fruit wine was stored in a container similar to a beer bottle, making it convenient to drink. This was specially refined by Sima Yue based on the beer bottles in her previous life. It was for this kind of situation so that they didn't have to spoil the scenery with 1 jar each. After a few cups of wine, Xiaoyi felt a little smug. He didn't expect to be able to drink Memory Restaurant's good wine today. This trip to deliver the letter was too worth it. Shi Chun and Xiaoyi clinked their bottles and said, Brother Xiao, I've been thinking about something. I want to ask you, is it suitable? This book came from Chapter 1236. According to the book's current location, that night, Sima Yue waited for Shi Chun in her courtyard. When Shi Chun came in, Sima Yue was drinking tea. Opposite her, there was a cup of freshly brewed tea. He smiled knowingly and sat down across from her. He first took a sip of tea before saying, Boss, I've managed to get some information out of him. I knew you guys wouldn't disappoint me, Sima Yue praised. What did you find out? Xiaoyi told us about the attire of the assassins. We can confirm that they should be related to the people from Cloud Sea City. Shi Chun said. It's really them. Sima Yue squinted her eyes. What kind of power are they? They actually incited chaos between the guilds. I feel that there must be a secret behind this. And this secret will incite chaos in the entire continent in the future. Then should we follow this information and investigate? Shi Chun asked. We just established our power not long ago. Although we have Memory Restaurant, our intelligence system is not perfect. If we investigate, it will be useless. Sima Yue said. But you reminded me. We have to develop our intelligence system. We can do that. Shi Chun said. To take root in the entire continent, other than business and power, intelligence is also very important. We have always neglected this, Sima Yue said. I'll call Feng and the rest over to discuss. She took out the mother-son stone and remembered that she didn't have any spiritual energy. She could only let Shichen do it. After a while, Shimin Feng Bai Sheng, Feng Ji and Feng Kai all came to her courtyard. They were very supportive when they heard that they wanted to set up an intelligence system. They discussed until late into the night, and finally decided to set up an intelligence system with memory restaurant as the core. Sima Yue yawned a few times and said tiredly to everyone, "This initial plan needs to be perfected. You don't have to call me for the rest. Let's call it a night. I need to go in and sleep. I'm so tired." She got up and entered the house. Yesterday, she was so engrossed in reading the book on the basics of refining that she didn't sleep much. Now that it was almost dawn, it was equivalent to her not sleeping for 2 days and 2 nights. Let's go to the conference hall and continue to discuss the following matters, Shimin Feng said. Their conversation would definitely affect Sima Yue's rest. All right. Sima Yue only needed to give them the initial idea, and they would have to perfect the implementation later. They were really worrisome. Sima Yue did not care about the rest of the matter and left it to them. After staying in Heartbreak Valley for 2 days, Xiaoyi returned with some specialties of Heartbreak Valley. Thinking of the poisonous powder made from poisonous substances, he wondered who would use such a thing as a letter to a guest. Fortunately, when he saw the pile of fruit wine they had prepared, he didn't feel that they were stingy. What he didn't know was that the poisonous powder was even more precious than the fruit wine. In Sima Yue's words, supply and demand determined the price. The fruit wine in Heartbreak Valley was much more than the poisonous powder, so it wasn't valuable at all. After staying for more than half a month, Sima Yue left Heartbreak Valley with Fatty Chu and the rest, and headed to the place mentioned on the invitation. Unlike the mysterious Cloud Sea City, the location of the Armament Masters Guild was well known to everyone. They were in the southern wasteland, but the Armament Masters Guild was in the northern desert. They didn't know how many places they had to pass through. Plus, she didn't have spirit energy to protect her body and couldn't teleport long distances, so she could only walk and stop and slow down. Ugh! Sima Yue vomited the moment she came out of the teleportation array. She felt that her internal organs were about to be vomited out. She didn't have spirit energy and couldn't set up a teleportation array. When she came back from the Immortal Land, she used the teleportation array that she set up herself, so she was fine. But she didn't expect that after so many years, she would start to get sick from the teleportation array again. Fortunately, she set out in advance. Otherwise, she wouldn't be able to reach there on time. Fatty Chu and the rest saw that Sima Yue had suffered around and their hearts ached. Yu probably didn't have spirit energy to protect her body, so she got sick from the teleportation array again. Wei Ziqi guessed. Can't be sure. Bei Gongtang said. I thought she was fine, but I didn't expect her to be like this without spirit energy. I don't know when her spirit energy will recover, Sima Yulin said. We've been walking and stopping along the way, but we're almost there, Ouyang Fei said. We'll be there after 2 more teleportation arrays, Fatty Chu said. Sima Yue, who had just finished vomiting, heard what he said and bent over to vomit again. She wailed in her heart. It would be good if it was a long distance. She could vomit enough in one go. But because she didn't have spirit energy to protect her body, she couldn't use the teleportation array for a long time, so she could only use it for a short distance. Therefore, every time was torturous. Others would only teleport if they didn't have a direct route, but she was different. After 2 teleportations, there was a direct route, but she couldn't use it. Thinking about it made her heart ache. Once she had vomited enough, they found a nearby inn to stay and planned to rest for a day or 2 before continuing. They were already deep in the north of the desert, and there were still 4 more days before they reached the armament city in the center of the desert. But this 4-day journey might take them more than 10 days. It was a good thing that they still had half a month's time. Even if there were delays on the way, they still had 3 to 5 days to rest in the armament city. Sima Yue wailed in her heart. In order to participate in this ceremony, she was drunk. Xiaohong, oh Xiaohong, if I didn't promise you, I wouldn't have to suffer like this. She lay on the bed and murmured in pain. then fell into a deep sleep. She slept until noon on the second day. She woke up hungry and saw a familiar smiling face when she opened the door. "You lazy worm, you can sleep until so late," Xiaohong said with a smile. "Why are you here?" Sima Yue looked at Xiaohong, who had changed 18 times. "I'm here to pick you up," Xiaohong said. "I heard that you left for a long time and still haven't arrived. I was worried that something might have happened to you. So I got someone to check. After knowing your route, I guessed that you would land here, so I came here in advance to wait for you. The moment you arrived, I got the news." "What if I didn't arrive here?" Sima Yue asked. "It's okay. I arranged people in the nearby cities. Wherever you go, I will go," Xiaohong said with a smile. "But why do you look so pale?" Sima Yue touched her stomach and said, "We'll talk about this later while eating. I'm so hungry, let's go down to eat first." "Hungry?" Xiaohong thought that she heard wrong, but when she saw Sima Yue gobbling up the food, she understood that she was really hungry when she said that she was hungry. And underscore s equals point, and ip equals, and underscore s equals gbk, and d equals tanks smm underscore 1005796 underscore 13556 underscore 53968 and underscore s equals true, and underscore s / p / x I equals underscore 1005796 underscore 13556 underscore 53968 and underscore h equals 0, and tanks underscore h underscore s tanks underscore h and underscore s equals point, and ip equals, and underscore s equals gbk, and d equals tanks sm underscore 1005796 underscore 13556 underscore 53982 and underscore s equals true, and underscore s / p / x I equals underscore 1005796 underscore 13556 underscore 53982 and underscore h equals 0, and tanks underscore h underscore s tanks underscore h and underscore s equals point, and ip equals, and underscore s equals gbk, and d equals tanks smm underscore 1005796 underscore 13556 underscore 53982 and underscore s equals true, and underscore s / p / x I equals underscore 1005796 underscore 13556 underscore 53982 and underscore h equals 0, and tanks underscore h underscore s tanks underscore h. Remember after reading, for next time. Or Transmigration Fan strives to create what girls love to watch and provide them with the best. Chapter 1237. According to the book's current location, because Sima Yue had been vomiting a lot recently, everyone felt bad for her, so Bei Gongtang would personally cook for her every meal. These inns all had small kitchens that could be used by paying some crystals, so every time Sima Yue woke up from hunger, there would be a sumptuous meal waiting for her. Xiaohong saw Sima Yue eating so much food and said in shock, "My God, I haven't seen you for more than 10 years. But you can eat so much all of a sudden?" Sima Yue drank 2 bowls of porridge, ate 2 steamed buns, gnawed on a chicken leg and a chicken wing before she finally recovered. Seeing Xiaohong so shocked, she rolled her eyes and said, "Xiaohong, you don't know how much I suffered just to see you. When we reach Armament City, you have to treat me better and treat me well. Otherwise, I'll use a needle and turn you back to how you used to be." Xiaohong shrank back and covered her chest with both hands, saying, "A woman's heart is the most poisonous." But how did you become like this? You seem to have lost a lot of weight. Also, you're a spirit master. How can you be so hungry? This teleportation array is also too much. Why did it have to stop so many times to reach Armament City in one go? I know you get sick from the teleportation array, but won't you suffer less every time? Xiaohong saw her eating so happily and picked up her chopsticks to eat a chicken leg. "I don't have any spirit energy, Sima Yue said. So naturally, I feel hungry. Without spirit energy, I can't use the teleportation array for a long time. Clang clang dash. The chicken leg in Xiao Hong's hand fell into the bowl, causing it to overturn. It fell to the ground and rolled twice before stopping. She grabbed Sima Yue's hand and said, "Why don't you have any spirit energy? What happened? Don't scare me. Don't overreact." Sima Yue said, "I'm fine, I just can't use it temporarily." Really? Xiao Hong didn't believe her. You don't believe Yin Lin's words? If it was Yin Lin who said it, then she would believe him. When did this happen? When I left the immortal realm. Yin Lin said that I got too much inside, so I was punished for a period of time. Sima Yue changed Yin Lin's words to prevent her from asking further. There's such a thing? Xiao Hong found it unbelievable. But he didn't say when you'll recover. No, he said he would recover when he needed to. Sima Yue said. So since I'm here, shouldn't you treat me well? Haha, that's for sure. You're in my territory, so how can I not treat you well? Xiao Hong said with a smile. Since when did Weapon Refining City become your territory? Sima Yue rolled her eyes at her. But that's true. Your father is going to be the president. You're going to turn the world upside down. Don't laugh at me. Xiao Hong said, because I won the refining competition in the Immortal Land, I'm being watched everywhere I go. I don't know what happened, but my relationship with my father was found out. After I came out, the entire guild knew about it. Then you can imagine what happened after that. Sima Yue looked at her sympathetically. She knew how it felt to be noticed when such a low-profile person went out. But the ceremony is around the corner. Is it good for you to come out like this? She asked. What's not good about it? Xiao Hong said. I just came out to take a breather. You don't know how suffocating I was. So exaggerated? Sima Yue stared. You could have just hid in the house and didn't go out. If I'm in the city, how can I really hide and not come out? Xiao Hong said. Besides, the people from those forces come in waves and want to see me. I'm not the kind of panda you're talking about. I'm so annoyed that I have to go out for people to see every time. So you escaped? Sima Yue raised her eyebrows. This girl still remembered what she said. Not really, Xiao Hong said. I told my father and mother that I'm coming to pick you up, and they agreed. Your parents really dote on you, Sima Yue exclaimed. Since the people who went before specially asked her to go out, it meant that they still valued her. The inauguration ceremony was around the corner, and there were many things to prepare for the ceremony. Since she was missing, everyone would naturally ask about her. At such a busy time, they were still willing to deal with this. It was enough to show how much they doted on her. Hee, that's right. Otherwise, they wouldn't have allowed me to change my name. When Xiao Hong talked about her parents, a smile appeared on her troubled face. But you can't avoid it. You still have to face it when you go back, Sima Yue said. I've thought about it. I'll say that I want to accompany you. You're my savior, so it's reasonable, Xiao Hong said. I'll treat you well then. Sima Yue suddenly stared at her face and said, Are you being pursued? Xiao Hong suddenly blushed and said, What nonsense are you talking about? Alright, I know from looking at you, Sima Yue said. Don't deny it. Your expression has already betrayed you. Tell me, which genius is bothering you so much that you can't stand it anymore? It's not any genius. It's just those who want to marry me. They didn't know about my identity and talent in the past. Why didn't they come when I was tall and strong? Now they're here after only 2 months. What's the point of having someone like them? Xiao Hong complained. It's not just that. If that's the case, why were you so shy just now? Sima Yue said. Come tell me, do you have your eyes on someone? There's someone who's not bad recently. I'm a little tempted, but I don't know if he's good or not. I'm a little unsure and need to think about it carefully. Plus, I was annoyed by others, so I came out, Xiao Hong said honestly. I knew it. Why would you want to pick me up? Sima Yue snorted. I really wanted to pick you up. Otherwise, I wouldn't have sent people to the surrounding cities. Xiao Hong hurriedly explained. You're awake. I was just joking with you. Sima Yue sighed and shook her head when she saw that she was really anxious. It was better for such a straightforward and talented girl to remain single, if she couldn't meet someone who really loved her. Xiaohong saw that she wasn't angry and smiled. By the way, what's the person who moved and scared you like? What's his name? What's his identity? How old is he? Sima Yue asked. I don't know his identity or how old he is, but I know his name. Junmoyu. His name is Junmoyu. He came with someone from a force. Xiaohong said with a red face. Junmoyu? I've never heard of him. I'll take a look at him for you when we go to Weapon Refinery City. Okay, and underscore S equals point. And IP equals, and underscore S equals GBK, and D equals tanks SMM underscore 1005796 underscore 1355667 underscore 539681414. And underscore S equals true and underscore S / P / X I equals MM underscore 1005796 underscore 1355667 underscore 539681414. And underscore H equals 0 and tanks underscore H underscore S tanks underscore H and underscore S equals point and IP equals and underscore S equals GBK and D equals tanks SM underscore 1005796 underscore 1355667 underscore 5398285 and underscore S equals true and underscore S / P / X I equals MM underscore 1005796 underscore 1355667 underscore 5398285 and underscore H equals 0 and tanks underscore H underscore S tanks underscore and underscore S equals point and IP equals and underscore S equals GBK and D equals tanks SM underscore 1005796 underscore 1355667 underscore 5398286 and underscore S equals true and underscore S / P / X I equals MM underscore 1005796 underscore 1355667 underscore 5398286 and underscore H equals 0 and tanks underscore H underscore S tanks underscore H. Remember after reading, for next time or Transmigration fan strives to create what girls love to see and provide them with the best. Chapter 1238. Sima Yue wanted to see Jun Mou, but she didn't know that he was waiting for her. She also didn't know that she was on the brink of death a few times after seeing him. Because she didn't know, she was still worried about the teleportation array. She was depressed when she thought about how she had to transfer twice and vomit twice. Although Xiaohong heard that she would get sick from the teleportation array, she hadn't seen it before and didn't know what it was like. So when she saw her vomit after coming out of the teleportation array, she was shocked and distressed. She's like this every time. That's right, Fatty Chu said. So for the past month, she has been vomiting like this. Xiaohong was touched. This was all because of her. If not for her invitation, Yue wouldn't have come here. No wonder she lost so much weight. If not for me, she wouldn't be like this. She blamed herself. Bei Gongtang had interacted with Xiaohong for 2 days and liked her personality. Seeing her blaming herself, she said, Yue is willing to do this. Otherwise, with her personality, who could force her to do anything? Don't blame yourself. Xiaohong nodded, but she still blamed herself. When is she going to stop vomiting? If she's like this when she goes back, how can she bear it? She'll be fine when her spiritual energy recovers. Bei Gongtang said. Or we can use a stable teleportation array to see if it works. A stable teleportation array? Will that work? Xiaohong asked. It should be able to lessen a lot. Bei Gongtang said. She will get sick from the teleportation array, because she is too sensitive to space. The teleportation arrays now are unstable. If it's a stable teleportation array, even if it doesn't completely eliminate it, it can lessen a little. Then when you go back, I'll find someone to try it, Xiaohong said. After Sima Yue vomited, she rested for a day. The next day, she went to Weapon Refining City directly. Originally, they had to transfer one more time to reach the city outside of Weapon Refining City. They had to use a special teleportation array to go there. However, seeing that Sima Yue was having a hard time, Xiaohong sent someone back to get a temporary teleportation circle and teleported them back. In the past, he had thought that these things were useless. Now that he thought about it, it would be better to bring some with him in the future. Sima Yue did not vomit after coming out of the teleportation portal. Perhaps it was because Xiaohong had asked her to bring a more stable one. She was just dizzy. The city gate is right in front. Can you still hold on? Xiaohong asked. Sima Yue could barely support herself with the help of Bei Gongtang and her. Looking at the city wall 100 meters away, she shook her head. Let me rest first. Bei Gongtang took out a pill and fed it to her. She then took out a soft mattress and helped her lie down, saying, "Rest here first." Sima Yue lay on the bed. Looking at her pale face, Xiaohong bit her lips and blamed herself. Sima Yue opened her eyes and looked at her. "Don't blame yourself. Just give me some nourishment later. Don't talk. Rest well," Xiaohong said. She secretly told herself that she would treat her well when she entered the city. At this moment, the city gate opened. A luxurious beast carriage ran out. A group of guards came in front of them and said, "Miss, the president asked us to bring you back." "Father arranged this?" Xiaohong was surprised. "Yes. The president's wife said that you should have arrived. The president arranged for us to come out of the city to bring you back. She said that if you haven't arrived yet, you should wait," the guard said. "My parents must have known when I sent someone back to get the teleportation circle. Since there's a beast carriage now, let's go back first," Xiaohong said. Sima Yue nodded. Since she agreed, the others naturally agreed as well. Xiaohong was strong. She carried Sima Yue and placed her on the beast carriage. She then got on the beast carriage with Bei Gongtang. The rest of the people got on the beast carriage at the back. The leader of the guards waved his hand and the spirit beast slowly drove into the city. At the city gate, although the guards did not know who the people inside were, they knew that they were not ordinary people since they were welcomed. Hence, they respectfully looked at them until they disappeared around the corner. Since Armament City was called this, it was also a city in name. This was because the people here, from the children to the elderly, all knew how to refine armaments. There were not many who did not know how to do business. Because the succession ceremony was about to begin, Armament City was bustling. Because there were many people in the city, people were not allowed to use horse carriages on the streets. Hence, when they saw that there were horse carriages on the streets, everyone was curious. Who is this? They actually dare to use horse carriages at this time? No matter who it is, their identity is definitely not ordinary. Look at those guards. They are all from the Armament Masters Guild. So what if it's the Armament Masters Guild? No matter who she is, I will go up and ask her why we can't use horse carriages, but these people can. A woman wearing a long yellow dress came to the street and stood in the middle of the road. She blocked the group's path and shouted, "Stop!" Without the leader of the guard's command, the spirit beasts automatically stopped. "Young Miss Huang, what are you doing?" The leader of the guards asked with a solemn face. "Leader Hao, your Armament Masters Guild said that there are many people in the city and beast carriages are not allowed. Who is this person in the carriage? How can she ignore this rule and use beast carriages on the streets? This is the president's idea. Please move aside, young Miss Huang." Leader Hao said. "The president's idea? Then we are even more curious about this person. For the president to personally send people to pick her up, she must not be an ordinary power, right? What? You don't want to let us know who she is and use this as an excuse to get rid of us?" The woman said mockingly. "If you want to talk about status, who can come here without status?" Xiaohong pulled open the curtain and poked her head out. She looked at the woman in front and shouted, "Huang Yingying, move aside." "Yo, I was wondering who it was. So it's our young miss who pretends to be low-key. What, didn't you say it was a very important guest? Are you also considered a guest? As the president's daughter, you can't use your power to break the rules." Huang Yingying said with a smile. Didn't you say status just now? My guest status here is much higher than yours. If you don't move aside now, I can't guarantee that you will be able to stay here until the ceremony begins. Xiaohong said. You make it sound like I'm scared. Huang Yingying pretended to be scared. Since you said it to be so scary, why didn't you say her identity? A person who doesn't have any spirit energy fluctuations. We are very curious about her noble status. Just based on you, you don't have the qualifications to make her get off the carriage here. Xiaohong said. Wait till you find out about her identity. Don't be so ashamed that you want to dig a hole in the ground. Chapter 1239. Everyone disagreed with Xiaohong's words, because they could feel that the other two people in the carriage, one was just a divine rank junior, the other didn't even have any spiritual energy. How could they be important guests? Since you're so powerful, then all the more we have to meet them. Huang Yingying said. Why, you don't dare? Or are you saying that there's no one with any status inside? If you say it, I'm afraid you won't be able to walk back. Xiaohong said contemptuously. Huang Yingying, do you think everyone is like you, only knowing how to ride roughshod over others with your status? Xiaohong, stop talking nonsense. Huang Yingying said. Are you going to say it or not? If you're not going to say it, then don't break the rules, or else we'll have to ask President He if this rule is just a rule. Xiaohong was so angry that she wanted to vomit blood. If she really went to look for her father, then his prestige would be severely trampled on. Say it. Sima Yue said helplessly. Anyway, it's not like I'm shameful. Xiaohong saw that her silence had already caused the dissatisfaction of the people around her, and they were all clamoring for the president to say it. Now that she got Yue's approval, she said, It's not impossible for you to know, but I'll ask you a question first. Do you know that in the Immortal Land, we met someone from another continent and had a decisive competition? Of course I know. If it wasn't for that competition, would you have your current status? Huang Yingying said. Then do you know the other person who competed with me? Sima Yue, Alchemist Guild's honorary elder, Divine Devil Valley's junior valley master, Heartbreak Valley's vice valley lord. A genius in everything except armament refining. Because she won in a race in alchemy, we were able to win that competition, in exchange for more than 10 years of stability. Huang Yingying said. You're saying that the person inside is her? That's right. Now that you know, hurry up and get out of the way. Huang Yingying laughed. Xiaohong, if it's really her, we won't say anything if you give her some courtesy, but just because you say it's her, it's her? Huang Yingying, if you stop us again, I'll get someone to chase you out of the city. Captain Hao, do it. Xiaohong didn't want to waste time with her and ordered. You can't win an argument, so you want to use force? Is this what the president of the Refiners Guild would do? Huang Yingying said. I only questioned you, and you want to chase me out of the city. Xiaohong, do you really think that I'm someone with a lower status than you? Huang Yingying's guards rushed out from both sides and stood behind her, looking like they were protecting her as they confronted the Armament Masters Guild's guards. What happened? He Qindong's voice came from behind the crowd. Only then did everyone realize that the president, who could be said to be busy every day, had unknowingly come to the street. Everyone made way for He Qindong, and a group of people behind him. Father. Xiaohong got out of the car and bowed to He Qindong. Father. Huang Yingying called out to a middle-aged man behind He Qindong. Yingying, the Armament Masters Guild is so busy. What trouble have you caused them? Huang Feng asked with a sullen face. I didn't. Huang Yingying said. I just saw someone disregarding President He's orders and using a car in the city, so I stopped them to ask. Nonsense. Since it's the guild's beast carriage, it's naturally a distinguished guest inside. How can you be so reckless? What if you offend them? Huang Feng scolded, then said to He Qindong. I'm usually not strict with Yingying and offended the guild's guests. Please don't be angry with her. It's nothing. He Qindong seemed to have a good relationship with Huang Feng, and he didn't mean to blame Huang Yingying. He cupped his hands towards the carriage and said, Miss Yue, are you okay? His words proved that it was indeed Sima Yue inside, and not Xiaohong who spoke. The curtains opened and Sima Yue came out with the help of Bei Gong Tang. Her pale face and tottering body made everyone immediately understand why they had to use a beast carriage to pick her up. Fatty Chu and the others also came down from the beast carriage behind and came to the front. Yue greets Uncle He. Congratulations on succeeding. Sima Yue bowed to him. He Qindong went forward to help her up and said, "Why did you come down? If you're not feeling well, stay up there. Uncle He is an elder. How can Yue not come down from the carriage?" Sima Yue followed his hand and got up. "How are you feeling?" "Yue is fine. I'll be fine after resting for a day," Sima Yue said. "Dad, why are you here?" Xiao Hong asked as she supported Sima Yue. "Your Uncle Huang and I happened to pass by and heard the noise here, so we came over to take a look," He Qindong said as he looked at Yue's pale and thin face. "You've lost a lot of weight since the last time we parted. I originally wanted to introduce you to Pavilion Master Huang, but I don't think it's a good time now. You can go back to the prepared place to rest first. We'll talk about other things later. Then Yue will take her leave first." Sima Yue bowed to He Qindong and Huang Feng before returning to the beast carriage. "Dad, I'll take my leave first." Xiao Hong returned to the carriage. Everyone made way for them, and the team started moving again. "Ying, go back and reflect on yourself. Don't be so impulsive again," Huang Feng shouted at Huang Ying. "She's just a junior. Is it worth it?" Huang Ying muttered unwillingly. "He's just a junior?" Putting everything else aside, just the fact that she's the king of the rocks is enough to dominate the entire mainland. Not to mention the benefits that she brought to the mainland by winning the competition. How dare you quibble? Go back and stay in your own courtyard. Don't come out before the ceremony starts. Dad, hurry up. Humph. Huang Ying stomped her feet and ran away feeling wronged. Although her father didn't discipline her much, he rarely scolded her in public. Now he actually did this for a junior younger than her. Besides feeling wronged, she also felt hatred towards Sima Yue. Ying is still young. Why do you have to do this? He Qindong said. She's not young anymore. Look at Yue. Her age is only a fraction of hers. She's so sensible. Sigh, she's been spoiled by her mother. The main characters of the show dispersed. He Qindong waved his hand and the onlookers left. He and Huang Feng also continued to deal with their own matters. In the tea house by the road, Mou and the head of the Jun family sat opposite each other. Master, that's Sima Yue. The head of the Jun family said as he looked at the beast carriage in the distance. Yes. She looks very weak. Mou said. However, I can smell a very delicious soul on her body. No wonder Yu was killed by her. She must want to eat her soul. Master, do you want to tell Anaheim? The head of the Jun family asked. Chapter 1240. Crazy Wife. Godly Dr. 5th Miss Chapter 1240 The Abnormal Old by Chapter 1240 The Abnormal Old by Chapter 1240 The Abnormal Old by 1/fan ribs Chapter Word Count. In the beast carriage, Sima Yue leaned against the soft cushion, looking a little tired. Yue, someone was looking at you just now. Bei Gong Tang said. I know. I felt it. There were so many people just now, someone must have been looking at Yue, right? It's not the kind of look you're talking about. Bei Gong Tang said. It's the kind of gaze that's sizing you up, with a bit of purpose. You guys even know this? Xiao Hong looked at the two of them strangely. I felt it. Sima Yue said. Xiao Hong, what kind of person is Huang Ying? You two seem to have a special relationship. It's just that Uncle Huang has a good relationship with my family, and she already knew my identity. But because she's older than me, her talent isn't as good as mine, so she always likes to go against me, Xiao Hong said. Then she didn't say anything about your identity? Say what? Others don't know my identity, but they know her identity. Doesn't she have a sense of superiority? Xiao Hong said. But I don't really care about her. I don't even have enough time to learn how to refine weapons. Good attitude. If she fought with someone like Huang Ying, it wouldn't be worth it. The best way to deal with her was to ignore her. Sima Yue closed her eyes after saying that. Bei Gong Tang and Xiao Hong also didn't say anything, letting her rest well. The beast carriage brought them to a courtyard and stopped. Xiao Hong brought them in while the other guards left. I know you like quiet, so I specially asked them to prepare this courtyard. Although it's not big, it's behind the guild, far from the city. It's not far from the guild, Xiao Hong said. Everyone followed her in. Although the courtyard was small, the decorations were very unique. It had a bit of the feeling of Jiangnan in her past life. She liked it at first sight. This courtyard is really exquisite. Does this belong to your guild? Not really, Xiao Hong said. This used to be the courtyard of one of our elders, but she's not here anymore. She heard that the decorations here were all done according to one person's preferences. I've loved this place since I was a child. Unfortunately, I can't ask her who she's here for. Sima Yue subconsciously looked at Bai Sheng, who did not speak much along the way, and saw that his expression was not right. Sure enough, was there something? Yue, I'll bring you to your courtyard so that you can have a good rest, Xiao Hong said after some introductions. Bai Gong, your courtyard is the same as Yue's. As for the others, it's up to them to decide how to split the two courtyards. I'll take you there now. Sima Yue was not feeling well, so she did not ask about Bai Sheng. She planned to ask him the next day. However, it was only on the eve of the inauguration ceremony that he appeared out of nowhere. Sima Yue only fully recovered after lying in bed for 2 days. However, there were only a few days left before the inauguration ceremony. On this day, Xiao Hong came to look for her early in the morning. The day before, Xiao Hong had come to visit her, and they had agreed to go to Weapon Refining City together the next day. Although there were other shops in Weapon Refining City, most of them were raw materials for weapon refining. Because there were many people refining weapons, these raw materials were consumed quickly. Fatty Chu could not move his feet when he saw the equipment. Luckily, he made quite a bit of money from selling weapons, and it was enough for him to spend lavishly. Hence, Sima Yue left Wei Ziqi and the rest behind while she, Xiao Hong and Bai Gong went to the tea house to rest. Little miss, why did you come to the tea house today? The shopkeeper saw Xiao Hong enter and hurriedly came out from behind the counter to greet her. Although they knew that her talent was not bad, they did not know that she was the president's daughter. This time, they had to treat her well. Shopkeeper, are there still any private rooms facing the street? Xiao Hong asked. I'm really sorry, because there have been too many people coming recently, not to mention the private rooms facing the street. Even the private rooms upstairs are already taken. Previously, we did not receive news that Little Miss was coming, so we did not reserve a private room. However, there are still some seats in the main hall, the shopkeeper said apologetically. What should we do? Xiao Hong was in a difficult position. Sima Yue was her friend and her benefactor. She did not like to be surrounded by people, so it would be best if she could be in a private room. However, she would never do anything arrogant and despotic. She did not want to chase those people out and go in herself. Let's go to the main hall then. Anyway, we are waiting for Fatty and the rest here. It won't take long, Sima Yue said. But Xiao Hong felt a little apologetic. Miss Xiao Hong, if you don't mind, why don't you come to our private room? A voice came from upstairs. Xiao Hong's body trembled when she heard this voice. What's wrong? This is the Jun family head's voice, Xiao Hong said. Sima Yue raised an eyebrow. She remembered that she said that the person was called Jun Mou. Could it be that he was from the Jun family? That person will be here too? She asked softly. Xiao Hong nodded. Usually he will be wherever the Jun family head is. Didn't you want me to help you check out that person? Since we are here, why don't we go up and take a look? Sima Yue said. There was no response from upstairs, so he asked again. Miss Xiao Hong, are you not willing to drink tea with this old man? Uncle Jun's words make Xiao Hong feel ashamed. Since Uncle Jun has invited me, Xiao Hong will naturally bring my friends up, Xiao Hong said. She waved her hand and the shopkeeper retreated to the side. Then, she brought Sima Yue and Bai Gong Tang upstairs to their private room. They knocked on the door and it was open from the inside. A guard in black stepped back expressionlessly and let them in. He then closed the door and retreated to the side. Sima Yue frowned slightly when she walked past him. Uncle Jun, Brother Jun, Xiaohong bowed to the two of them. Sima Yue realized that this girl's voice became softer after she entered the private room. Greetings to the Jun family head. Sima Yue and Bei Gongtang only bowed slightly. They did not know each other, and were not their elders. There was no need for them to bow to them. This must be Miss Yue, whose name has shaken the entire continent, right? Meeting you today, you really live up to your reputation. The Jun family head smiled as he looked at Sima Yue. Jun family head is too kind. Yue is just a junior. How could she deserve such praise from the Jun family head? Sima Yue smiled faintly. Don't just stand there. We just brewed a pot of tea. Come and have a taste. The Jun family had invited. Sima Yue and the other two sat down. Xiaohong took a sip of the tea and praised, "Good tea. I didn't know that Miss Xiaohong knew how to taste tea. Since you said that this tea is good, can you tell me what's good about it?" The Jun family had asked. Download address, mobile reading. Chapter 1241. Xiaohong was startled. She had only casually praised him, but he had actually asked her what was good about him. Xiaohong is an uncouth person. She only knows how to drink and not how to speak. If she speaks, then Yue is the master of tea. She kicked the ball to Sima Yue. Oh. Junwei shifted his gaze to Sima Yue. Yue knows how to taste tea too? I know a thing or two. Give it a try then. Sima Yue smelled the tea that Mou handed to her. She sniffed it gently and took a sip. She originally wanted to discuss this tea, but when the words reached her mouth, she changed it into a poem that she had heard before. The iron-colored wrinkled leather belt is filled with the beauty of poetry. The root of the tongue has not tasted the innocence, but the nose has already smelled the sacred fragrance. Xiaohong and Master Jun didn't quite understand what Sima Yue said, but Mou understood what she meant. He was a knowledgeable fellow. Tiguanyin tea is very simple to brew. This cup of tea is also mellow and sweet. However, because the water temperature and brewing time are not enough, the taste of this tea is affected, and the fragrance of this tea is not fully displayed. Junwei and Mou's expressions changed slightly, especially Mou. This tea was the best tea he had found in the mortal realm this time. It was even more delicious than the teas before. In order to brew its fragrance, he lived with those tea farmers for more than a year. He only left when he felt that he had brewed enough tea. But she said that she didn't do a good job? So you're saying that you're very good at making tea? Mou said faintly. It was hard to tell whether he was happy or angry, but it made the Jun family's head's heart skip a beat. A little, Sima Yue said. Since that's the case, why don't you brew a pot of tea for everyone? Sima Yue thought for a while and said, okay. Mou handed the tea set to her, but she declined. I prefer to use my own tea set. With a wave of her hand, a full set of tea sets appeared on the table. Then she began to make tea. Mou saw that her tea set was not inferior to his own and knew that she was also a tea lover. The rudeness in his heart towards her just now disappeared by more than half. What he didn't know was that Yue didn't like tea at first. It was because Wu Lingyu liked it that she knew many ways to make tea. She would make tea for him from time to time. And that was how she slowly fell in love with tea. In the past, she preferred to drink. Boil the water, pick the tea, brew the tea, wash the cups, and finally soak the tea. After waiting for 10 seconds, pour the tea into small cups, and then use a pair of tweezers to place it in front of everyone. Please. She picked up a cup for herself and sniffed it. A satisfied smile appeared on her face. Mou's group of 4 had never seen such a brewing method before. Seeing that small cup of tea, they picked it up somewhat curiously. Mou sniffed lightly and said, the golden color of the eyes is like amber. It smells like a natural fragrance, but I don't know how it tastes. You'll know after tasting it. What's the difference between my tea and yours? Sima Yue drank the tea and was in a good mood. Mou didn't think that the tea she brewed would be better than the tea he brewed, although it did smell good. However, after he drank it, he immediately overturned his thoughts. For people like them who were well versed in tea, even if there was a slight difference, they would be able to taste it. Not to mention, this tea was obviously much better than the one he brewed. What kind of tea brewing method is this? Kung Fu tea. Sima Yue saw that he had finished drinking, so she used a pair of tweezers to pick up the cup and refilled it for him. Then, she handed it to him. She was already very beautiful, and her movements were so elegant. Her faint aura made him feel that drinking tea with her was a kind of enjoyment. Kung Fu tea. He picked up the teacup and looked at it. Then he looked at her and said, "Can you teach me? This Kung Fu tea isn't difficult. I think you should be able to understand it after watching me perform it," Sima Yue said. "But if there's a single mistake in this tea, it will ruin the entire cup of tea. I want to know how precise each step has to be," Mou said. "Miss Yue, during this period of time, can I look for you to discuss the art of tea?" Sima Yue was startled. They didn't seem to be familiar with each other. "I'm sorry." Before she finished speaking, she felt Xiaohong's pleading gaze. She immediately changed her words and said, "Since that's the case, Yue would also like to discuss it with young Master Jun." They stayed in the tea house for a while longer. When they saw Fatty Chu and the rest coming out of the shop, they said, "Jun family head, my friends are out. We'll take our leave first." Xiaohong looked at Mou with some reluctance and said, "Jun family head, young Master Jun, we'll take our leave first. Take care, three ladies." Sima Yue and the rest came out of the private room. The smile on her face slowly faded. Bei Gongtang looked at her and didn't say anything. "Xiaohong, we've been shopping for a long time today. Let's go back," Sima Yue said after they left the tea house. Xiaohong saw that her expression wasn't right and said, "Are you angry?" "No," Sima Yue said. "I understand that you want to interact with him more. I'm not angry. I'm just a little tired." "That's true. We've been shopping for a long time this year. I'll send you back then," Xiaohong said. Sima Yue wanted to say that there was no need, but she was afraid that she was too abnormal and would make her suspect something, so she agreed. In the private room, Jun Wei and Mou were still tasting tea. "Master, why didn't you kill her?" "If Aniheim knew, would she be angry?" Jun Wei asked. "I told her before that I was only going to help her investigate what kind of person this person was. I didn't promise to help her take revenge," Mou said. "Wouldn't it be a pity to kill a person with such a high level of difference? The tea she makes is indeed extraordinary." Jun Wei was very sure about this. He was often tasted by Mou's tea, and was already picky with the tea he made. Ordinary tea wouldn't enter his eyes. To be honest, the tea made by Sima Yue was indeed better than the tea made by his master. It's rare to meet such a powerful person. If I don't learn properly, wouldn't I have wasted my time in the human world? Master is right. Xiaohong sent them to the place where they stayed before going back. She smiled happily at the thought of seeing Mou often in the future. Sima Yue waited for her to leave before entering the door with Bei Gongtang, and the rest with a sullen face. Fatty Chu and the rest saw Sima Yue's expression change and asked, "What's wrong?" "That Jun Mou is abnormal," Sima Yue said. "He's from the Ghost Clan and is very powerful. When we were in the private room, I felt a flash of murderous intent towards me." "Ghost Clan? How do you know?" Qingyi said so. Sima Yue said, "And I feel like he knows me. Why did you agree to let such a person into the residence? If I rejected him, I might not be able to walk out of that private room." Chapter 1242. Even until now, Sima Yue seemed to be able to feel the way Mou looked at her inadvertently. Although there was no strong killing intent, it was enough for people like them to not show their anger. "Is the Jun family also part of the Ghost Clan?" Bei Gongtang asked. "I don't know if he's from the Ghost Clan. But did you notice that although he's sitting in the main seat, his words and actions reveal his respect for him? This means that the other party's status is higher than his. He shouldn't be from the Jun family," Sima Yue said. "If you agree to such a dangerous person, what if he wants to kill you when he comes looking for you?" Fatty Chu asked. "Since he let me go today, he won't kill me for now," Sima Yue said. "But I'll have to ask Qingyi for help next time." Right now, Qingyi was probably the only one who was a match for him. "Right, where's old Bai?" "I don't know. I haven't seen him in the past few days," Wei Ziqi said. I feel like Old Bai has something on his mind, Ouyang Fei said. I noticed that his expression wasn't right after he came here that day. Old Bai is a man with a story. Perhaps his story is related to this place, Sima Yue said. How do you know? Fatty Chu asked. When Xiao Yi came to deliver the invitation card, I noticed that Old Bai's expression changed when he heard about the Armament Masters Guild. I asked him to protect me. At that time he was a little hesitant. He wanted to come but didn't want to. So I guess it has something to do with this place. Could it be related to the owner of this place? Bei Gongtang asked. That female refiner elder? I'll ask Xiao Hong about this elder later. Sima Yue said. Yu, is that Mou really alright? Sima Yulin was still very worried. As long as he's from the Ghost clan and I'm prepared, he won't be able to kill me so quickly, Sima Yue said. After all, Qi Yan's flame is their nemesis. I don't think Qing Yi will watch me get killed. Even if he doesn't make a move, the other party won't know. Therefore, his existence is a form of intimidation, Sima Yue said. Besides, since he's using the Jun family as a cover, it means that he doesn't want his identity as a ghost to be known. He definitely won't act recklessly. Did he say when he would come to discuss tea art with you? Sima Yue shook her head. Although the other party did not say anything, she could roughly guess that it could happen any time in the next few days. Although she thought so, she still did not expect that Mou would come to find her so early. When Mou arrived, he did not announce his arrival, nor did he take the usual route. Instead, he went directly to Sima Yue's courtyard, and she was having her breakfast happily. When Mou saw the tall stack of bowls on her table, he was stunned for a moment before he understood. Sima Yue was eating the last mouthful of porridge when she saw Mou suddenly appear. She almost choked to death and coughed violently. Why are you here? She felt that her throat was hurting from coughing, but it was not as strong as the shock in her heart. Mou's face darkened immediately. Didn't we agree to discuss tea art? Cough cough. But you don't have to come so early, right? Sima Yue was choked and glared at him. Now that Qingyi was outside, she did not have to worry about him so much. Plus, she was choked so badly, so she was a little angry. The sun is already up in the sky, Mou said. But you shouldn't have come in directly, right? Why didn't anyone inform you? Sima Yue said again. It's troublesome to go through the main door, Mou said. Alright, you're done eating. Let's discuss tea art. Although she cursed in her heart, she still obediently brought him to a small pavilion by the lake in the courtyard. Although Xiao Hong said that this courtyard was small, it was only compared to other courtyards. This courtyard was still very big. At least there was a front yard, a backyard, and a scenic lake. This pavilion was a little far from where she lived. Because she did not have spiritual power, they walked for more than 10 minutes before they arrived. Why did you come here? Mou asked. This pavilion is on the fake mountain by the lake. The scenery is the best, Sima Yue said. Humph. She would not tell him that she walked so far just to let others know that he was here. Mou saw that the scenery was indeed good, so he did not think about anything else. He grabbed her shoulder and jumped, bringing her to the pavilion. No one had come to the pavilion for a long time, so the stone table and stone bench were covered in dust. Mou frowned. With a wave of his hand, the dust was swept away. Sima Yue pursed her lips. Luckily, this guy did not ask her to wipe the dust. Please. Mou casually chose a seat and sat down. Seeing that Sima Yue was still standing there, he said. Sima Yue went to face him and looked at him, saying, You want to learn Kung Fu tea? I want to learn the tea art that you know, Mou said. Then you will have to learn for a long time. Sima Yue said, There are several brewing methods for each type of tea, and each method has different requirements for different types of tea. This is not something that can be learned in a short time. Then I will follow you and slowly learn, until I learn everything. Sima Yue pursed her lips. He really had the bad temper of those almighty people. He did whatever he wanted to do. I think that if you know too much, you will lose the heart to taste tea. If young Master Mou really likes tea, you don't have to be so serious about it, especially about tea, she advised. How could Mou not understand Sima Yue's meaning? Wasn't she telling him to get lost if he learned Kung Fu tea? Life is too long. You have to find a hobby for yourself. Mou said. Although this tea art is very deep, but compared to the long life, it is just a drop in the ocean. Didn't this mean that I have all the time? She looked at him and wanted to ask, aren't you going back to the ghost realm? Aren't you afraid of being found out by the human realm? How could she do anything if he was by her side? Don't be unwilling. Mou said. What you need to do now is to please me. Why should I? Sima Yue sneered. The thing that she would never do in her life was to please others. Because your information is now in my hands. The daughter of the Dark Princess, Aniheim, asked me to get your information. It would be best if I can kill you directly. Sima Yue's fingers curled and her heart sank. This Mou really knew a lot of things. No wonder he looked at her with killing intent. Nervous? Mou said. You should be glad that you know the art of tea. So I don't want to kill you for the time being. So why don't you hurry up and please me? Sima Yue took a deep breath and said. Pleasing people is something that I left in my mother's womb. If you really want to learn the art of tea, I have my requirements. Chapter 1243. A dark light flashed in Mou's eyes. He had been in the mortal realm for so many years, and had heard a lot about her. Of course, most of these rumors were investigated by people. From the information he received, although this little girl was young, her guts weren't small at all. How could a person who had done so many things be a coward? Therefore, he was only surprised for a moment that she wanted to make a request in such a situation. Tell me, what do you want? If you're only here to discuss Kung Fu tea with me, I'd be more than happy to oblige. If you want to learn from me, I'm sorry, but I only teach my own disciples. Sima Yue shrugged helplessly. Mou's face turned even darker. His body's hostility was exposed, and the entire pavilion was wrapped up in a gale. Sima Yue remained calm. Although the wind was so strong that it made it difficult for her to breathe, she was not frightened. Aren't you afraid that I will kill you? Or are you saying that I can't bear to kill you because you know the art of tea? Mou's voice was filled with killing intent. It could be said that if Sima Yue said anything wrong, he would immediately take her life. Even Aniheim had to give in to him. And no one in the entire ghost realm dared to disobey him. How dare a silly little girl say such words to him? Can't bear to kill me? Cough cough. The moment Sima Yue spoke, the wind rushed into her mouth. Since when did a member of the ghost clan have such a reluctant heart? Looks like you do know a little. I thought you had something to rely on, so you were indulging in fantasy. He retracted his aura, and the surrounding wind instantly stopped. Sima Yue did not let her guard down because of this. You're right, but you're also wrong. What's right and what's wrong? I do have something to rely on. You're right. However, my request is not a whimsical one. Sima Yue said. If you don't want to be my disciple, you won't be able to kill me and you won't be able to learn any skills. After saying that, she glanced at the lake and smiled confidently. Mou followed her gaze and looked over. By the lake, Little Seven and Little Dream were playing. Qingyi was looking at them dotingly. Feeling Mou's gaze, Qingyi turned her head slightly. Their eyes met, but in that instant it felt like 10,000 years. So there is such a powerful person here. No wonder you're not as obedient as you were yesterday. Mou retracted his gaze, his expression not looking good. Sima Yue smiled. Thank you, young Master Mou, for showing mercy yesterday. You're threatening me. Mou was in a very bad mood. How many years had it been? He had already forgotten the taste of being threatened. I'm not threatening you. Sima Yue took out a tea set and boiled some water. She then made a cup of tea guanyin for both of them. This method was the same as the one he used yesterday, but he could smell that the fragrance was stronger than the one he used yesterday. Please. Smelling the fragrance of the tea, the anger in his heart instantly dissipated by quite a bit. He picked up the teacup and took a sip. He wanted to see if the tea she brewed using the same method would taste better than the one he brewed. The answer was self-evident. Each of them held a cup of tea and tasted it. The pavilion quieted down for a moment. The strong killing intent, and the raging wind just now seemed to have never existed. After drinking a cup of tea, Sima Yue refilled it with boiling water. You win. After a long time, he opened his mouth and said helplessly, "Then I wonder which path young master Mo you chose?" Sima Yue asked with a smile. "Like you, I won't choose any path." Mo you said. "But I can promise you that I won't kill you." No, it seems that young master Mo you doesn't understand what I mean. It's not that you don't want to kill me, but that you can't kill me. I think we've already understood this before. Sima Yue said. What we want to talk about now is whether we should continue to discuss the art of tea, how to discuss it, in the short term or in the long term. What do you think? Mo you sniffed the tea. Even if it was the second cup, it was still so intoxicating. If it's according to my idea, then naturally after today's discussion, young master Mo you will let go of me, a little human, and we won't have any contact with each other in the future. I'll teach you this kung fu tea and today's tea brewing technique. Sima Yue said. You don't want to be involved with me. Mo you said with certainty. Young master Mo you is a sensible person. Although I don't know what your identity is, but since you can say Anaheim's name so naturally, I think your relationship shouldn't be bad. And I killed her son. If you pester me, I think it's too dangerous. Aren't you sure that I can't kill you? The danger I'm talking about is that you'll bring me too much trouble. And although I'm not afraid of trouble, I've never liked to deal with trouble. So it's best not to be with you. Sima Yue said straightforwardly. Mo you chuckled. She was indeed her daughter. Her courage was big enough. Aren't you afraid that I'll send news of you back? If that's the case, I'm afraid you won't have any peace in the future. Even if those from the Ghost Clan can come here, not many of them are as powerful as you, right? Sima Yue said. If that's the case, then I'll kill as many as they come. Anyway, those who want to kill me, I'll never be lenient. For example, you do? Sima Yue shrugged, which was considered a tacit agreement. But I'm not talking about your news. Mo you said. You're saying? That's right. If those from the ghost realm know that your mother is Yu Kuluo, what do you think your life will be like in the future? Sima Yue was somewhat helpless. She was still unable to restrain the aura of the ghost clan, so those powerful people could sense that she had the royal bloodline. Thinking about her age, it was easy to guess whose child she was. Isn't it just being known? Anyway, they can't do anything to my mother. As for me, I'll go to the ghost realm sooner or later. Sima Yue did not take his threat seriously. Although it was not good for her identity to be exposed now, she would not be afraid just because she was her mother's daughter. You're quite open-minded. Mo you looked at her. After only 10 minutes of interaction, he understood her a lot more. Now that I can't do anything, I can only control my own heart. Sima Yue poured tea for herself. How many tea brewing methods do you know? I know more than you. Sima Yue said. How about it? Do you want to consider being my disciple? Hehe, I'm afraid you don't have the life to be my master. Mo you said. My life is tough, I'm the bane of masters. His masters were really all dead. Is that so? Sima Yue laughed. My life is even tougher. Those who aren't my bane can't be my disciple. Chapter 1244. In the end, the two of them did not become master and disciple. Sima Yue had never intended to accept him as her disciple. She was not the type of person who would accept anyone as her disciple. She was just using it as a stalling tactic. After that, Mo you promised that he wouldn't do anything to her, nor would he send news of her back. Finally, when he promised to protect her safety during this period of time, the two finally reached an agreement. Although she didn't know if she could trust him, this was the best she could do for now. Since we have reached an agreement, can we begin? Mo you asked. Sure. Sima Yue was in a good mood after dealing with the other party. She took out the tea and water that she had prepared and showed him how to make kung fu tea. She also told him what he needed to pay attention to when making tai guanyin with kung fu tea. Mo you really liked tea, so when Sima Yue talked about it, he listened very carefully and remembered everything she said. However, it still tasted like the tea brewed by 1,000 people. Although he followed her instructions to brew the tea, It was still not as fragrant as the tea brewed by her. You'll know after soaking a few more times, Sima Yue said. In fact, the difference between the two of them was only a tiny bit. Most people would not be able to tell. However, for those who love tea, this was a huge difference. Therefore, Mou had always been dissatisfied with the tea he brewed, so he had been practicing the whole morning, causing her to drink a lot of tea. Unfortunately, the tea didn't fill her up. After drinking the tea, she still wanted to eat lunch. However, from the looks of it, the other party didn't seem to have any intention of leaving. Mou, you've been drinking all morning. Haven't you had enough? No. Then continue on your own. I'm going to do my own thing, Sima Yue said. What are you trying to do? Humans are made of iron and rice is made of steel. I'm now a normal person who can't use spiritual energy. If I don't eat, I'll be hungry. Sima Yue said, so you can continue making tea here. I'm going to cook. Can the things you make be eaten? Mou said. Why don't we eat outside? Sima Yue was stunned. Had this guy changed? Unfortunately, she didn't like the things outside. I prefer to cook for myself. If you want to leave, remember to use the main gate. I won't see you out. She jumped down from the top in a few steps and walked towards her own courtyard. She really left Mou behind. After drinking tea for the whole morning, she had some understanding of him. The more powerful a person was, the less likely he was to kill people. Since they had reached an agreement, he would not care about her until he learned her tea art. Of course, the most important reason why she ran so fast was because she had been drinking tea all morning. She had long wanted to pee, but the other party was a man, so she couldn't say anything. It's really inconvenient without spiritual power. When she came out of the room with a sigh, she saw Mou standing in the courtyard and was shocked. Why are you still here? I'll wait for you. We'll continue in the afternoon, Mou said. Tea addict. She sighed in a low voice and walked towards the kitchen. Mou followed her in. Seeing her skillfully cooking, he said, You actually know how to cook. Just like tea, it's a great hobby. Yu Kaluo doesn't know how to cook. Sima Yu's hand paused. She turned around and looked at him. Are you close to my mother? Not really, we've met a few times. Oh. Sima Yue turned around and continued. If he wasn't close, then there was no need to ask. All right, do you want to eat together? If he wanted to eat, she had to make more. Otherwise, if she didn't prepare anything for him and he wanted to eat, she wouldn't be able to fill her stomach. Mou sat down at the dining table. He was originally waiting for her, but when he smelled the food she made, it seemed to be quite fragrant. You can have some. Sima Yue originally planned to make 5 dishes. Now that he wanted to eat, in order to prevent herself from not being full, she took out a whole duck and made a roast duck. Then she took out 3 kilograms of spirit beast meat and made 3 more dishes. Fortunately, her divine sense was still there, so she could cook several dishes at the same time. Therefore, 7 dishes, 1 braised meat, and 1 roast duck were all prepared in less than an hour. Mou saw that she made so many dishes in such a short time and knew that she must have cooked frequently. Other people's divine sense was used for cultivation, but she was using it for cooking. Sima Yue placed all the dishes on the table. Then, she scooped a bowl of rice for each of them and started to eat. It was already past lunchtime, and she was already hungry. She was dragged to have tea with him after breakfast. She was so nervous that she forgot to eat her elixirs. Now her chest was sticking to her back. This body of hers. Fortunately, her culinary skills were not bad. Otherwise, she really didn't know how to survive this period of time. Mou saw that she was enjoying the food, so he picked up his chopsticks and tasted it. He wasn't the kind of person who liked to eat, so he planned to stop after tasting a little. However, after the first bite, his chopsticks didn't stop eating. Although his speed wasn't fast, he didn't eat any less than Sima Yue. For example, he ate half of the roast duck. He ate nearly 2 kilograms of the braised beast meat. He also ate about half of the other dishes. When the two of them finished eating, there were only empty plates left on the table. Sima Yue glanced at him. This guy's speed wasn't fast, so how did he eat so much? Luckily, she had the foresight to prepare more. Otherwise, it wouldn't be enough. She rubbed her stomach. It seemed like she wasn't full, so she took out a pill that Bei Gongtang refined for her and ate it. Seeing that Mou was looking at the pill in her hand, she shook it and said, "It's all because you ate too much. I'm not full yet. This pill is for replenishing energy. You have pills. Why do you still need to eat? It's probably a psychological effect." She kept the pill. Although eating pills is useful, if you don't eat, you will feel hungry. Also, pills don't have any taste, so you don't feel anything when you eat them. It's better to eat. Your appetite for food is so strong. You're different from your mother. Mou said. Sima Yue didn't know how outstanding her mother was. Everyone would compare her to her mother. Didn't you eat more than half of it just now? Your appetite for food is so strong too, Sima Yue said. Since you're done eating, let's continue discussing tea. Mou didn't answer her question. He got up and left. Sima Yue pouted at his back. She kept the plates in her spirit pagoda. Naturally, someone would help her wash them. The two of them came to the pavilion again. Not long after, Xiaohong came. Seeing that Mou was here, her eyes were filled with joy and admiration. Sima Yue sighed in her heart. Xiaohong, if you knew his identity, would you still be like this? This book came from Chapter 1245. Crazy Wife. Miracle Dr. 5th Miss Mou was very cold to Xiaohong. He answered every 10 questions she asked. However, he was much more patient with Sima Yue. He would even take the initiative to talk to her. Even though Xiaohong was a carefree person, she understood something after spending half a day with him. She left early in the evening, saying that she had something to do. Sima Yue looked at her fleeing figure and shook her head helplessly. Although she would be sad for a few days now, it was better than being hurt when she found out about his identity. In the following days, Xiaohong came less often, and she would always come when Mou was not around. Once Mou came, she would leave. Sima Yue complained to Mou when she was drinking tea. It was all because of him that she could not talk to Xiaohong properly these few days, and she did not have time to ask her about the elder. You have seriously affected my life, she complained. After a few days of interaction, they had become familiar with each other. She knew his identity, the leader of the #1 family in the ghost world. His strength was second only to the royal family, and he was much stronger than Anaheim's family. Therefore, Anaheim tried to rope him in. She knew that he had a perverted love for tea, so she sent people to the human world to get him good tea. He did not like to owe people favors, so he helped Anaheim with a lot of ideas. In the eyes of outsiders, the two of them were very close. However, in Mou's eyes it was just a deal. This was what he told her when they were drinking tea. Knowing that he was not really on Anaheim's side, she was more open. Since Anaheim could use tea to get him to help, she could also use tea to attract him to her side. Mou saw that Sima Yue was braver every time they interacted, so she was not afraid of him anymore. Otherwise, why would she complain about him? He skillfully brewed the kung fu tea. His elegant movements were more pleasing to the eye than hers. How did I affect your life? How is it not affected? Xiaohong doesn't play with me anymore, Sima Yue said. She is the president's daughter. The day after tomorrow is the succession ceremony, so she naturally has to help. Mou said disapprovingly. But I have something to ask her. She runs away quickly every time she sees you. You've severely hurt her maiden heart. It's better than hurting her life. Mou said. I don't like people pestering me. If it makes me impatient, I'll deal with it directly. So you should be glad that she gave up early. Sima Yue looked at his expression and knew that he was not exaggerating. What do you want to ask her? You don't know about their union, Sima Yue said. Then I really can't help you, Mou said. No, you can, Sima Yue said. As long as you don't look for me, I can chat with Xiaohong for the whole day. In the end, she was still dissatisfied with him for making her drink tea for 2 days, and did not want to accompany him anymore. Why don't we rest for 2 days? Anyway, you won't be leaving anytime soon, Sima Yue said. You have to give me some time to settle my own matters. Mou saw her blinking at him. as if she wanted him to agree. After a moment of silence, he said, "You don't have to drink tea, but I want to go with you and see what you want to do." "Why?" "Because you said that I'm in charge of your safety now. I have to know what you want to do so that I can take better precautions." Mou said matter-of-factly. He would not say that he was more interested in her after a few days of interaction. He wanted to see who was more powerful between her and her mother. Sima Yue stared at him. Was this guy crazy? But she could not persuade him because she could not beat him. So in the end she did not have the right to decide. But the good thing was that she did not have to drink tea all day. The next day, without drinking tea, Sima Yue finally found Bai Sheng. No, it was through the scarlet bees that she got news of him and found him. But at that time his situation was not good and he was being chased by people. Sima Yue brought Little Seven and the rest. It was Little Seven and the rest who brought her to the place where Bai Sheng was being chased. She saw that he was surrounded by more than 10 people of similar strength, and he was already injured. "Damn, you dare to kill my old Bai, see how I deal with you." Little Seven and Bai Sheng's relationship was better. Seeing that he was injured, she was furious. She threw Sima Yue aside and flew over. Little Dream and Hua Hua also rushed over. The other party was not weak. Little Seven could deal with them, but with the injured Bai Sheng, it was a little dangerous. Qing Yi and Mou stood together with her. Although they did not form a protective circle, the energy dissipated automatically when it reached them. Sima Yue felt for the first time that it was good to stand together with such powerful people. On the other side, Little Seven and the rest quickly took care of the people. They killed a few and spared a few. The ones who were spared were kept in Hua Hua's bud. Sima Yue walked over and saw Bai Sheng taking out a pill and eating it. Her face darkened and she did not say a word. Bai Sheng saw her like that, and knew that she was really angry. He opened his mouth but nothing came out. "Old Bai, who are these people? Why did they fight?" Little Seven asked with concern. "Let's talk when we get back." Sima Yue saw that there were many people around and thought that it was not good to question him in public in the weapon refining city. Before she left, she casually set a fire. Little Birdie went to burn those people's corpses and brought back their space rings. Sima Yue looked at the space rings that Little Birdie placed on her hand and pursed her lips. Who did it learn this from? If anyone wants to find Old Bai, I think it won't be hard to find our place to stay. She kept the space rings and said casually. Then the group of people left the street. Her words were for the power behind her to hear. The corpses were burned for them to see. "Since you dare to kill my people, then I'll kill your people too." These people were all very strong. If they were burned and captured by her in front of so many people, the person behind this would definitely be angered to death. When they returned to the courtyard, Fatty Chu and the rest surrounded them. "How is it, are you okay?" Bei Gongtang saw that Bai Sheng's clothes were stained with blood and asked. "It shouldn't be a big problem." Sima Yue said, "Let's go to the living room to talk." She walked 2 steps and stopped. She said to Mou, "Shouldn't you go back?" "I feel that I should stay and watch the show." Mou said, "Who knows, you might need my help." "Help?" Sima Yue glanced at him and understood what he meant. "You can't watch the show for free." After she said that, she brought everyone to the living room. "Old Bai, why didn't you contact us? If I didn't send my bees to find you, do you know what the consequences would be?" Chapter 1246. Bai Sheng remained silent. How was he going to explain his feelings? Talk about what happened back then? "Old Bai, we all know you have something on your mind, but you shouldn't have stopped contacting us." Little Seven said, "You don't know how worried Yu was about you." Knowing that you didn't come back for 2 days, she immediately sent the bees out to look for you. If you're being hunted, you should have contacted us. Us. Sima Yue's face darkened at the thought of this. If they had been any later, he might have died. Who are those people? A few are from the Sage Pavilion, a few are from the Wu clansmen, and one is from the Armament Masters Guild. Bai Sheng said. Wu clan? A power from the inner regions? Sima Yu asked. Their power is slightly higher than the Sima family. Bai Sheng said. Now you should tell us about yourself, right? Is it related to the Armament Masters Guild? Bai Sheng sighed and slowly told everyone about what happened back then. More than 100 years ago, Bai Sheng met the youngest and most beautiful elder of the Armament Masters Guild, Shang Guanwanqing. Even though they were enemies at the start, they eventually became lovers. Originally, falling in love was a matter between two people, but when it came to them, it became a matter between all parties. Although Old Bai was strong, he relied on his own talent. He didn't have any powerful backing behind him. On the other hand, Shangguan Wanqing was born in a big family in the inner region, and was also an elder of the Refiners Guild. The two of them were not compatible. Therefore, the matter between the two of them was strongly opposed by the family. They were determined not to let them be together, and even wanted to break up the couple. The Armament Masters Guild also didn't approve of them being together, but at that time, the president was more open-minded and didn't interfere too much in their affairs. But later on, he also didn't come forward to support them. Other than these two parties, there was an even bigger obstacle, and that was the young master of the Wu family, Wu Qing, who was madly in love with Shangguan Wanqing. When Wu Qing found out that the two of them were together, he sent a lot of people to kill them. He didn't expect that they would be killed by Bai Sheng in the end. The Wu clan was extremely sad and decided that they must kill Bai Sheng and Shangguan Wanqing. Wu Qing had an uncle, who was an elder with a rather high position in the Sage Pavilion. He had doted on Wu Qing since he was young. Knowing that his nephew had been killed, it was impossible for him to be forgiven. As a result, during that period of time, the two of them had to face the pursuit of the Wu clan and the Sage Pavilion, as well as the interference of the Shangguan clan. Before Shangguan Wanqing was killed, the Shangguan family had found her and promised to let Bai Sheng go as long as she returned. However, the two of them had experienced so many hardships. How could they be willing to give up? Even if they were to die, they would die together. But the final outcome made people sigh. Shangguan Wanqing died, and although Old Bai was seriously injured, he was saved by the people of Blood Fiend City and brought back. Since then he had been living in the city. Occasionally he would go out, but because of the poison in his body, he had to go back. Until Sima Yue went to Blood Fiend City and changed his life. After listening to his narration, everyone was infuriated, but they also felt sorry for his past experiences. If he was someone with status, why would he end up like this? Most likely, the Shangguan clan would love to have him as their son-in-law. Who poisoned you? Sima Yue asked. The Wu clan. Bai Sheng said. The people who killed you today were from the Wu clan and the Sage Pavilion. Looks like they've all come to Armament City. Ouying Fei said. What's up with that person from the Armament Masters Guild? Was he sent by the guild? Fatty Chu asked. I don't think so. Old Bai said. That person has a good relationship with Wu Qing, and is closer to the Wu clan. At this time, I think the Armament Masters Guild shouldn't have the time to participate in this matter. This should be a personal matter. Is that person from the Armament Masters dead? Sima Yue asked. Huahua threw out a flower and spat out the person inside. It was one of the stewards from the Armament Masters Guild. Because he was poisoned by the flower, he was already unconscious. Will he die? Fatty Chu asked. Huahua has many types of poisons. It depends on which one she uses on him. He won't die for now, but he won't feel good either. Huahua said. The other two powers are easy to deal with, but what about this person? Bei Gongtang looked at Sima Yue. As for the other two powers, the Sage Pavilion didn't have a good relationship with them. When the people from the Sage Pavilion were killed in one high little realm, they were destined to be enemies. As for the Wu clan, they didn't have any contact with them. But because of Old Bai's matter, they probably wouldn't make peace. So if they shed all pretense of cordiality, then so be it. It was inevitable anyway. But the Armament Masters Guild was different. In any case, they were in their territory and had come to congratulate them. If they caused trouble, wouldn't it make things difficult for them? In any case, she had some relationship with He Chundong and Xiaohong. She looked at the unconscious person on the ground, and thought about how to deal with this person. It wasn't easy to kill him, but she also didn't want to let him go. It's really a little difficult. She sighed deeply. However, before she could make a decision, Someone came to make it for her. Miss Yue, the president is here. A maid ran over. Although this was the Armament Master City, and the people here were all from the Armament Masters Guild, they were the ones living in this courtyard. Out of courtesy, they had to announce their arrival. Sima Yue glanced at the person on the ground and stood up to welcome them. They had just reached the courtyard when they saw He Qindong, Xiao Hong and a few people from the Armament Masters Guild walking in. Greetings to Uncle He. Sima Yue bowed slightly to He Qindong and asked, "Tomorrow is the inauguration ceremony. Why is Uncle He here at this time?" "I'm here to check on your situation," He Qindong said. "I already know about what happened in the East Main Street. Are you all okay?" "We're fine," Sima Yue said. "Uncle He, please come in." Everyone returned to the living room. The first thing they saw was the manager of the Armament Masters Guild lying on the ground at the entrance. Then they saw Mo leisurely sitting on the chair and drinking tea. "Uncle He, I was still thinking about how to deal with this person just now. Since he's from the Armament Masters Guild, now that you're here, I'll hand him over to you." Sima Yue and He Qindong sat on the main seat. As for this person who wasn't very important, she might as well return him to He Qindong. Although this person is from the Armament Masters Guild, but for him to take action against a guest without permission, no matter what the reason is, it is unforgivable. When I bring him back, I will definitely punish him properly and give you an explanation, He Qindong said seriously. Sima Yue's smile widened. Since he said that, she could understand his attitude towards this matter. Then it would be much more convenient for her to deal with the following matters. Chapter 1247. Crazy Wife. 5th Miss Divine Doctor. Yu, do you know who you killed on the streets today? He Qindong asked. I do, Sima Yue said. Then are you worried? I'm worried, of course I'm worried. They are two unshakable powers. Sima Yue said. But I've said it before, we are Heartbreak Valley's people. Whoever we touch, we will return the favor. Ha ha ha, seeing you like this, I don't think you're worried at all. He Qindong looked at Sima Yue. Although she said she was scared, her expression didn't look scared at all. Can I take this as a compliment from Uncle He? Sima Yue said with a smile. You're still laughing. The Sage Pavilion and Wu Clan are not ordinary powers. You've offended both of them, how can you still laugh? You killed their people in front of everyone. It's the same as falling out with them. They will definitely find trouble with you, Xiao Hong said worriedly. I'll wait for them to come, Sima Yue said. How can you? Xiao Hong panicked. You didn't even bring anyone here. If they come to find you, how can you hide? Honger is right, He Qindong said. In the Armament City, I can protect your safety. But once you leave this place, even if we show up, they might not accept it. Then I'll have to trouble Uncle He to take care of me in the city, Sima Yue said. Aren't you worried about your life outside? He Qindong looked at her calm expression. Why don't you stay here for a while? After we're done here, I'll get someone to send you back. They will still have to give face to the Armament Masters Guild. Won't that implicate the guild and other powers? Sima Yue said. Uncle He, you can protect our safety in the city. We're already very grateful. We can handle the rest on our own. Yu, the Wu Clan and Sage Pavilion have brought many people, Xiao Hong said. We don't need too many people. It's good as long as we're strong, Sima Yue said. However, if we really want to compete in numbers, it's hard to say who will lose. They remembered that she still had the King of the Rocks among her contracted beasts. If she summoned all the birds, it was hard to say who would have more birds. All right then. We'll go and appease those two forces to ensure your safety in the city. He Qindong got up and prepared to leave. Sima Yue also stood up and bowed deeply to He Qindong. Thank you, Uncle He. This Uncle He was the most affectionate she had ever called him. He Qindong heard it, laughed twice, and asked people to take the people on the ground away. He came here first, and he still needed to pacify those two forces. Time was of the essence. After sending off the people from the Armament Master Guild, everyone returned to the living room. I thought you needed my help and I could sell you a favor. Now it seems like I don't need it. Mou sat on his own seat and did not get up from the start to the end. Sima Yue did not know much about the Jun clan, but seeing him like this, she guessed that they would not be too bad. If you really want to help me, I can still provide you with this opportunity. Sima Yue said. Mou was speechless. Since when did he have to help someone? How could he do such a degrading thing? Yue, do you want to get the people from the valley to come over? Wei Ziqi asked. With Mou here, there's no need for anyone else, right? Sima Yue smiled at Mou, as if he would really help her. It's all because of me. Bai Sheng said guiltily. I knew that if I came here it would cause trouble, but I still wanted to come here to take a look. This was the place where she used to be. Sima Yue saw him blaming himself, and the anger in her heart subsided. She said, we guessed that you had something to do here, but we didn't have the time to ask you. We didn't expect it to be like this. All right, you don't have to blame yourself for this. This isn't a problem just because you didn't go out. I once promised you that I would help you take revenge for the past. I wasn't just saying those words. But now isn't the right time, Bai Sheng said. She did not have any spiritual energy. If she met with danger, she would not be able to protect herself. If she was injured, he would not be able to face his brothers in the valley, and even more so, he would not be able to face himself. She was like his family now. She was no longer the same. Don't worry. With Big Boss here, we will be fine, Sima Yue said. Big Boss? It's Mou. With a wave of his hand, he can easily crush them. Sima Yue explained. You didn't ask me, Mou said. Am I the kind of person who would casually make a move? Really? Then forget it. I'll think of a way myself, Sima Yue said. But I might be very busy during this period of time, so you'll have to taste the tea yourself. I originally said that if you help me, I'll give you some tea leaves that you haven't tasted before. Seems like there's no need for that. Anyway, you won't help me. Everyone was speechless. Your threat was too direct. Can't you be a little more technical? He was an almighty from the ghost realm. Would he accept your threat? But a certain someone just looked at Mou with a smile, as if it didn't matter if he took the bait or not. If it was someone else, or some other bait, Mou might really ignore it. But it had to be someone that he recently acknowledged. She even used tea leaves that he had never tasted before as bait. Although it was a simple threat, he just had to fall for it. Who asked her to be someone that he acknowledged? I'll protect your life. I don't care about anything else, Mou said. Deal. Sima Yue patted the table lightly and said happily. All right, old Bai. You don't have to worry. But those people hurt old Bai. We can't just let it go like that. Little Seven said. How can we let it go like that? Sima Yue said. But there's no use being anxious now. We have to get more information first. Know yourself and know your enemy. Only then can you win 100 battles. That's right, Wei Ziqi said. How many of those people came here? Who are they? How strong are they? We have to find out all of these. That's not easy. Just let the bees investigate. Little Seven said. I've already released the bees on the way back. When Old Bai was talking about these things, the bees had already received orders to investigate. Sima Yue said. You already thought of this at that time. Little Seven looked at her with admiration. She knew it. How could you not care about Old Bai's matters? Bai Sheng's heart warmed. She looked so angry at that time, but she was still thinking for him. To be able to follow such a person, how lucky he was. Chapter 1248. When the discussion was almost done, Sima Yue was caught by Mou to drink tea again. Please search to see the most complete. Update the fastest. She rolled her eyes at him and said, Mou, tomorrow is the succession ceremony hall. Let's forget about it today. I need to think about how I'm going to face those people tomorrow. What's so good about facing those people? Mou said disapprovingly. They're just some small fries. I'm just a small fry in your eyes, but in their eyes, I'm just a small fry. Sima Yue said. This is not something that can be avoided just because you say so. Don't you have He Chendong to solve it for you? Uncle, he can only ask them not to kill me during this period of time, but it doesn't mean that they won't make things difficult for us tomorrow. Sima Yue said. Then let the Jun family handle it. Mou said. Is the Jun family very strong? I can still protect you all. Why didn't you say so earlier? Then I won't have to think about how I'm going to spend tomorrow. Sima Yue said. Can you have tea with me now? So this guy still hasn't forgotten about this tea. You just said that there's tea that I haven't tasted before. Mou had a different kind of obsession with tea. Since you can't forget about it, I'll let you have a taste. I have kept this for a long time. Sima Yue said. Let me tell you, this tea tastes better the longer it is stored. It's been many years since I discovered this tea, but I couldn't bear to drink it. Today I'll give it to you. What do you think? Not bad, right? What kind of tea is this? Pu'er tea, Sima Yue said. This tea is different from the ones we've had before. You can slowly taste it later. She took out a set of purple sand-covered tea set. After boiling the water, she used a tea knife to pry off a piece of pu'er tea and waited for the water to boil. When the water was boiling, she poured the boiling water into the cup, washed the tea, poured another cup for him, and handed the teacup to him. Mou had seen her take out various tea sets during this period of time. Now that he saw her take out another tea set, he felt that he had wasted a lot of good tea in the past. Fortunately, he had met her on this trip to the mortal realm, allowing him to comprehend what the true way of tea was. Otherwise, he might not be able to find the essence of the way of tea in this lifetime. Aniheim, who only knew how to find good tea for him, was really nothing compared to her. Although most of the time her purpose was obvious, it wasn't disgusting at all. The others watched as the two of them drank tea and chatted in the gazebo. From time to time, Sima Yue's laughter could be heard. They thought that it was a good thing that she knew how to make tea. Otherwise, not to mention finding a helper, her little life would be in danger. The next morning, Sima Yue woke up to pack her things. When she opened her eyes, the first thought that came to her mind was how long her punishment would last. At first, he thought that sleeping every day was fine, but now he felt that it was a waste of time. After sighing on the bed for a while, she got out of bed, tidied up, and went out. The others were already ready. Because there were too many people and the weapon refining city was relatively small, everyone had to walk to the big square of the Alchemist Guild. Originally, this ceremony was going to be held in the Alchemist Guild, but because there were too many people, they had to change it to an open-air square. However, this square was not far from where Sima Yue and the others lived. It was only half an hour's walk. Sima Yue and the others arrived at the gate, and saw the Jun family head leading a group of people from the street. She took a glance, but Mou was not there. Miss Yue, what a coincidence. Junwei cupped his hands toward Sima Yue and smiled. Jun family head, what a coincidence. Sima Yue returned the greeting. They were already at the entrance of her place. This coincidence was really good. Since everyone is going to the square, why don't we go together? Junwei said. Sima Yue remembered that Mou said that the Jun family would help them block those people today. She guessed that he had specially instructed them. All right. Jun family head, please. Please. Maybe it was because of Mou's instructions, but Junwei looked much more approachable this time. He chatted with her along the way, and did not have the faint coldness that he had the other day. Why didn't Mou come? Sima Yue asked. He said that he doesn't like to watch the show, so he won't go. Junwei said. Thank you, Miss Yue, for taking care of him these 2 days. If not, I would have been so busy these few days that I would have fainted. Sima Yue understood the meaning behind his words. She thought that he was relieved, but she had to drink water for a few days. When they arrived at the entrance of the square, she felt a thick murderous intent surrounding them. She raised her head and saw a group of people looking at them with murderous intent. Sima Yue recognized their clothes. They were the Wu family and the Sage Pavilion. What made her a little surprised was that Nailanlan was also in this group of people. With her status, how could she attend this ceremony? And when Nalanlan saw her this time, the hatred in her eyes seemed to have deepened. It was as if she had killed her sweetheart. It seemed that there was indeed a piece of news from the bees. A girl's sweetheart had been killed on the streets. That girl couldn't really be her, right? Junwei saw that Sima Yue looked at Nalanlan in confusion and said, "She is a newly selected holy maiden from the Sage Pavilion. I heard that she realized her own path in the immortal land and was promoted as an exception." Her path? Sima Yue laughed. Nalanlan's path was not complete. The most important word, heart, had run into Han Miaoshuang's body. She still laughed when she thought about it. "She seems to hate you a lot," Junwei said. "Could it be that genius beauties can't coexist with each other?" "Patriarch Jun, you think too much," Sima Yue said. "It's just that I accidentally killed her sweetheart that day. She wants to pounce on me and tear me apart." "You killed her sweetheart? Then she should come and tear you apart," Junwei agreed. "Oh my Patriarch Jun, do you think it's not lively enough?" On the other side, Nalanlan saw Sima Yue. Her heart was filled with hatred that she had never felt before. She hated her even more than when she exposed Murong's two timing. If they weren't here, she would have killed her immediately. She had just been brought to this continent by her master when she met Mu Bai, who was patrolling from the main hall. From then on, her heart fell on him. For so many years, she worked hard to improve herself and cultivate so that she could enter the main hall and see him often. Because of this, even when she knew that Sima Yue was here, she didn't continue to kill her. But she killed her sweetheart, and it happened just 2 months after she entered the cabinet. She was so close to happiness, but once she appeared, her happiness was shattered, just like when she was a young girl. This Sima Yue was her life's nemesis. This book came from Chapter 1249. Crazy Wife. 5th Miss Godly Doctor. Chapter 1249. Failure to Kill. Support Seeking. Update Date. The more Nalanlan thought about it, the more she couldn't suppress the anger in her body, and her body subconsciously wanted to rush over. Lan. The woman beside her grabbed her arm. "Not today. Today was the Armament Masters Guild's inauguration ceremony. Whoever caused trouble at this time would be going against the Armament Masters Guild. Otherwise, when He Chen Dong came to find them yesterday, they wouldn't have suppressed this matter." "Master." Nalanlan bit her lips, her eyes filled with tears, looking pitiful. "Don't worry, they won't be able to escape." The woman looked coldly at Sima Yue. "Daring to kill my nephew. I will take revenge no matter what. But not today. If we make a move today, not only will we fall out with the Armament Masters Guild, we will also cause conflicts with other powers. So don't be rash." Nalanlan nodded and softly replied, "I understand, Master." She only recognized this master after coming to the General Pavilion, so they weren't very close, so she didn't dare to be impudent in front of her. "I didn't expect them to be with the Jun family. The Jun family is protecting them. The Jun family rarely contacts other powers, so how did they get involved?" Wu Gaofei said with a sullen face. "Humph. The Jun family can protect them today, but after today, I'll see who can protect them." Wu Qing's father, Wu Gaofei's brother, Wu Gaoyan said. He must take revenge for his son's death. Sima Yue saw that the other party hated them, but didn't dare to provoke them, and was a little surprised by the Jun family's strength. In her opinion, even if they couldn't kill them, they could at least threaten them. But they were standing still, which could only mean one thing: they were afraid of the Jun family. But the outside world didn't know much about the inner regions, so she didn't know what the Jun family's status was. What made her more curious was the relationship between the Jun family and MOU. She could see that the Jun family was indeed human, but from MOU's words, the Jun family was subordinate to him. "They won't come, let's go in," Junwei said to Sima Yue. "Okay." As soon as they entered, someone immediately came up to greet them and brought them to their designated seats. Coincidentally, the Wu clan and the Sage Pavilion were right in front of them. With their good eyesight as cultivators, they could see that Sima Yue and Junwei were chatting happily. They were not disturbed by their killing intent at all. In fact, Sima Yue and Junwei were also talking about them. but their expressions were too relaxed, making them think that they did not care at all. Aren't you worried at all? Junwei looked at Sima Yue and asked. What's there to worry about? Sima Yue said. In the city, the Armament Masters Guild said that they will ensure our safety. I mean after we leave the city, Junwei said. The Armament Masters Guild was very close to her, so he knew that she would be fine in the Armament City. What he was curious about was, how was she going to escape after leaving this place? We don't know who will kill who after we leave the city. Sima Yue smiled. You sure are confident. As far as I know, you don't have any spirit energy now, right? If you are alone, you will be in danger, Junwei said. It is a little dangerous, Sima Yue admitted, but it was not certain who would kill who. Those Bird Clan elders were all half a step into the Paragon rank, and the other party did not seem to have that many experts. Junwei saw that Sima Yue was not worried at all. He did not know if she was pretending to be calm, or if she really had something to rely on. But no matter which one it was, being able to remain calm in such a situation was already very rare. After a while, the coronation ceremony officially began. The surroundings quietened down. They stopped talking and watched the ceremony. There was nothing special about this ceremony. It was nothing more than a speech, a coronation and so on. But after a lot of trouble, it still took 2 to 3 hours. After the ceremony ended, it was almost noon. The afternoon was free time for everyone to have fun. There was a banquet and program in the evening. But Sima Yue was not very interested in these. She symbolically attended the banquet and left early. She did not expect that she would be blocked at the exit. I knew you would leave early. Nalanlan was standing outside the door. When she heard movement, she turned around and looked at her. You really know me well. Sima Yue shrugged. She was not surprised. She did not see Nalanlan in the banquet hall. She knew that she must be waiting for her outside. You have guts. You clearly know that we want to kill you, but you still dare to come out alone, Nalanlan said. She looked at Sima Yue, who was dressed as a woman. Other than hatred, there was also jealousy in her eyes. When she was in the Immortal Land, she heard that she was a woman. Now that she saw her with her own eyes, she realized that she was actually so beautiful. She could not help but be jealous and want to destroy her beauty. Sima Yue shrugged. I have always been gutsy. It's not the first time, you know. You are still so annoying. Nalanlan saw the indifference on her face and the hatred in her heart exploded. She could not control her spirit energy and attacked her. Sima Yue was still in her original position. She watched as her spirit energy attacked her quickly. She did not move an inch. Bang dash when the spirit energy neared. Sima Yue's body emitted a light blue ray of light, reflecting Nalanlan's spirit energy back. Nalanlan dodged to the side, and the spirit energy landed on the ground. It made a loud sound. The guards at the door heard the movement and came out. They quickly separated the two of them, but from their formation, they were protecting Sima Yue at the back. Young Miss Nalan, fighting is prohibited in the city. Captain Hao walked out from the back and said to Nalanlan. Nalanlan saw the way they were standing, and knew that there was no hope of killing her tonight. The Armament Masters Guild was protecting her. If not, how would she dare to be so savage? Young Miss Nalan, if you are like this, it will be difficult for the Sage Pavilion, right? Captain Hao reminded her. Of course, Nalanlan knew that she could not do anything to her today. She had snuck out just now. If her master and the others found out, not only would they not be able to kill her, they would also be reprimanded by the sect. Humph, Sima Yue, you better not step out of Armament City for the rest of your life. If not, I will kill you with my own hands. I'll wait. Sima Yue smiled. But we won't know who will be the one killing who by then. Humph. Nalanlan glared daggers at her. Then she went in unwillingly. Captain Hao turned to Sima Yue and cupped his hands, saying, Young Miss Yue, it is not safe in the city. Let us send you back. Sima Yue smiled, saying, No need. I am not far from here. I will walk for a while. Captain Hao wanted to say that this was the president's idea, but seeing Mou walking over, he swallowed his words. Chapter 1250. Crazy Wife. 5th Miss Godly Doctor Chapter 1250. Night Battle Update Date. Sima Yue saw Mou coming over, and was a little surprised. This guy didn't come in the day. What was he doing here at this time? Why are you here? To pick you up. To pick me up? I went to your place to look for you. Seeing that you weren't back yet, I came over to take a look. Mou said. Sima Yue turned back to look at the banquet hall. Bei Gongtang and the rest walked out from the door. Yue, how is it? I told you that my armor is not bad. Fatty Chu smiled and said to Sima Yue. It's enough to deal with Nalan Lan, but if it's an attack from a stronger person, it might not be useful. Bei Gongtang said. When they came out, they guessed that Nalan Lan was waiting outside. Sima Yue said to come out and try, so everyone stayed at the door to watch. Seeing that it was only Nalan Lan, they didn't show themselves. If it's useful, then it's useful, Sima Yue said. Who knows when my spiritual energy will recover? I hope it'll be soon, Bei Gongtang said. I saw the Wu clan and Sage Pavilion's expressions when they looked at us today. They were all fierce and powerful, not easy to deal with. All right, let's not stand here. Let's go back first, Sima Yue said. When they returned to their place, Sima Yue let everyone rest while she stayed behind to talk to Mou. Mou, why did you come to pick us up tonight? Sima Yue asked. Mou looked at Sima Yue. It seemed that she didn't believe what he said just now. I heard that someone snuck in. I was worried that you would be in danger, Mou said. Someone snuck in? More powerful than the Jun clan? Sima Yue was surprised. If it was such a powerful person, why would he need to sneak in? If he could sneak in, it meant that he couldn't be exposed. Thinking about the death of the previous president, Sima Yue guessed that it wouldn't be smooth sailing. In the morning, she was still wondering if there would be any problems during the ceremony. She didn't expect it to go so smoothly. He Chendong and the others must have done a lot to isolate the hidden dangers outside. I also happened to hear it when I was resting in the woods outside the city, Mou said. Although I don't know those people, I can tell that they want to sneak in and do something. They also said that the security during the day was too tight, so they took advantage of the dinner party when everyone was relaxed to come in. Do you know who they are? Sima Yue asked. I don't know, and I'm not interested to know. If it wasn't because you guys are still in the city, I wouldn't even mention this matter, Mou said. It really suited his personality. No, I have to tell Xiaohong and the others, Sima Yue said. She took out a brush, ink, paper and inkstone and wrote a small piece of paper. She let a few scarlet bees out and passed the small piece of paper to them, asking them to bring the message over. She and Mou waited in the courtyard. She didn't know if the bees had brought the news. Bang! The sound of fighting could be heard from the Armament Masters Guild. Sima Yue looked towards that direction. The spiritual energy's light seemed to have lit up the entire night. Baisheng jumped out from somewhere and injected spiritual energy into the lake beside the pavilion. The ripples of the array enveloped the courtyard. Seeing Sima Yue and Mou in the pavilion, he flew over. What happened? Fatty Chu and the others came out from their houses and looked towards the direction of the Armament Masters Guild. Why did they suddenly start fighting? Wei Ziqi frowned. If they didn't come back earlier, they would have been embroiled in the battle. Seeing the power of those spiritual techniques, they would have died without leaving a trace. The people fighting are so strong. Ouyang Fei said. If it wasn't for the protection of the array, I'm afraid our courtyard wouldn't be able to hold on. Yue is at the pavilion. Let's go over and take a look. Everyone came to the pavilion and saw Baisheng inside. What exactly is going on? Why did they start fighting? Bei Gongtang was the last to come up and asked. Someone sneaked in, Sima Yue said. Who is it? Thinking about the previous president's death, it's not hard to guess who it is. Sima Yue said, but we still don't know their identity. Can this array withstand this power? The people fighting there were too strong. Who knew if it would be unable to withstand a few more attacks? This array was specially set up by the 100 changing doors in the late Qing dynasty. There shouldn't be a problem, unless there's a battle between high-level paragon experts, Baisheng said. This was his lover's courtyard. If he said it, everyone would naturally believe him. Bang dash, the clash of spiritual techniques caused the entire city to tremble. Luckily we came back early. If not, it would be dangerous. Fatty Chu patted his chest with a face full of fear. The others nodded in agreement. Luckily Sima Yue didn't like to attend these banquets. She left after showing her face. If not, who knew what would happen to them if they were trapped inside? I think Uncle He and the rest should have made preparations. Even if they didn't come back, we shouldn't be in big trouble. Sima Yue said uncertainly. But it's best that we came back early. Bai Xing said. Sima Yue looked outside worriedly. I wonder how the situation is over there. In such an intense battle, she didn't even dare to release her scarlet bees. She guessed that once they left the protection of the array, they would all die. It was also because of this that they didn't say anything to help. Because in such a battle situation, it wasn't something they could participate in. The battle continued for an entire night. It wasn't until noon on the second day that the noise outside gradually became softer. It stopped. Fatty Chu came to the side of the pavilion and looked in that direction. The noise is gone. The battle should have ended. Wait a while before going out. Let my bees go out and see the situation first. Sima Yue said. She released her scarlet bees and let them see the situation outside. When they returned, she said, the battle has ended. The Union won. Everyone heaved a sigh of relief. It was good that the Union won. If they lost, it would be troublesome for them to leave. Bai Xing went to turn off the array. Everyone went out and ran towards the Union. The battle that night was really intense. Some of the buildings along the way were destroyed. Only those with arrays were preserved. She came to the banquet hall last night. There were many corpses outside. It seemed like the battle last night wasn't easy. She saw Xiao Hong and a few men talking about something and walked over. Xiao Hong saw her and asked the people beside her to leave. She walked over and asked, Yue, are you guys okay? We're fine. Sima Yue saw that her face was pale. Are you hurt? Chapter 1251. Xiao Hong glanced at her arm. Her clothes were drenched in blood. Copy URL access %77%, 77%, 77%, 2E%, 76%, 6F%, 64%, 74%, 77%, 2E%, 63%, 6F%, 6D. I'm fine. It's just that my arm is a little injured. Fortunately, you left early last night. Otherwise, I don't know how badly you would have been injured in your current state. It's good that you're fine. How's the situation here? Sima Yue asked. My father and the rest had already made preparations. Although this battle was a little difficult, but to fight with our Armament Masters Guild, the pressure of our spirit artifacts would be enough to crush them to death. That's why we didn't lose many people. Instead, we took them down. Xiao Hong smiled proudly. But there are still many injured. Sima Yue thought about it and agreed. The pills from the Alchemist Guild and the spiritual weapons from the Blacksmith Guild were all used to suppress others with quantity. She had long guessed that the Armament Master would not have not considered this and would definitely have made preparations. Knowing that the current situation was not bad, she had nothing to worry about. Is there anything we can help with? Sima Yue asked. That's true, Xiao Hong said. Although not many of us died, many of us were injured. Everyone was more or less injured last night, including our alchemist. We don't have enough healing pills right now. Bei Gong and the others are alchemists. Can they help us refine some pills? All right. Bei Gong Tang nodded. She could still refine some pills. Sima Yue was depressed. She had no spiritual energy now, so she couldn't help even if she wanted to. She took out a spatial ring and said, This is a healing pill that I usually refine. Take it for emergency use. If it's not enough, I'll refine more. We have some here too. Bei Gong Tang and Ouyang Fei took out the pills that they had accumulated. Xiao Hong took the 3 spatial rings and said, I'll continue with this so I won't stand on ceremony with you guys. If you manage to refine any healing pills, inform me and I'll send someone over to get them. All right. Then I'll take these pills first. You guys should go back too. The situation isn't settled yet, and it's not safe. Xiaohong said. When I'm done with these 2 days, I'll go and look for you guys. We know. Go ahead. Sima Yue said. Okay, then I'll go. Xiaohong took the 3 spatial rings and entered the banquet hall from last night. There should be more injured people inside. The injured people were treating their wounds while the uninjured guards were cleaning up the corpses. Sima Yue and the rest walked around, but there was nothing interesting to see, so they returned to the small courtyard. Bei Gongtang and Ouyang Fei returned to their own house to refine pills. The others wanted to talk to Sima Yue about what happened last night, but she was pulled away by Mou. Is this Mou a major power of the ghost race or not? Why do you like drinking tea so much? Fatty Chu complained as he looked at their backs. You should be glad that he likes to drink tea, Sima Yulin said. That's true, Fatty Chu sighed. But if this goes on, Yue will have enough of drinking tea. If you go to the ghost realm in the future, Mou will be a good helper, Sima Yulin said. But I'm afraid that he'll be a different person in the ghost realm. Fatty Chu didn't believe Mou at all. So we have to work hard to pull him over, Sima Yulin said. But I feel that Yue's relationship with him has improved. The two of them really feel like friends. I think so too, Wei Ziqi said. Yue will only be so accommodating to her friends and family. You saw the look in Yue's eyes when they left just now. That's the kind of look she has for her friends. I just don't know how Mou treats her. I think it's not bad. Didn't you see that when he heard that someone had sneaked in yesterday, he immediately came to pick up Yue? If he didn't care about her, he wouldn't have come personally. Wei Ziqi analyzed. That's true too. I didn't expect that in just a few days, they would turn from murderous and defensive to friends. Sima Yulin sighed. They both like to drink tea and have a common hobby. They'll be closer to each other. Maybe. But this time, Mou didn't let Sima Yue drink tea. Instead, he brought her out of the city. Sima Yue saw that they were suddenly outside the city and asked curiously, "Why did you bring me here? Didn't you say that you didn't know the identity of those people? I brought you to see their corpses," Mou said. You killed all those people? Sima Yue asked curiously. It was too noisy in the city yesterday, so I came out of the city for some peace and quiet. I didn't expect to be disturbed by them, Mou said. Then I casually got rid of them. Based on past experience, they definitely won't leave any clues on their bodies, Sima Yue said. You won't know until you try. Mou brought her to the place where he killed yesterday and found the corpses. Sima Yue saw the corpses and didn't think it would have any effect. After all, when she saw their clothes, she was sure that they were from the same force as before. She also guessed that there wouldn't be any clues on the corpses. But she still went up to check. Not for anything else, but for Mou's sake. During these few days of talking about tea, they also talked about many other things. Sima Yue once mentioned something about this. She remembered that she only mentioned it a little and didn't show much concern. But she didn't expect that he remembered it all, and even kept the corpses after killing them. But the result was as she guessed. These people didn't leave anything behind. There wasn't a single useful clue. And because they had been dead for almost a day, she couldn't read their memories. There's nothing, Sima Yue said. And I can't read their memories. These corpses are useless. Then I'll collect their souls and ask, Mou said. Collect their souls? Sima Yue looked at him in shock. These souls have already gone to the world of spirits and souls. How can I collect their souls? I left their souls behind, Mou said. What do you mean by that? Their souls are still in their bodies. Mou explained patiently. When I killed them, I trapped their souls in their bodies. They didn't come out. You can do that? Do all the people in the world of spirits and souls know how to do that? Sima Yue looked at him in surprise. Others don't know, but I do. This is my own creation, Mou said. If you're interested, call me master. I can teach you. Do you think the possibility of that is high? It shouldn't be small, Mou said. Although this underworld technique isn't very useful, the other underworld techniques are. Without that underworld technique, it's useless even if you have a soul. What underworld technique? Soul trapping technique. This book came from Chapter 1252. Crazy Wife. 5th Miss Godly Doctor Chapter 1. Soul Technique Genre. Wuxia Cultivation Author. Fan Gumu Book Title. Soul Technique? Sima Yue blinked. Hearing this name, it should be a very powerful underworld technique. Everyone, please search for the most complete version. It's the fastest. Of course it's very powerful. This is one of the top underworld techniques in the ghost realm. How about it? Do you want to learn it? As long as you call me master, I'll teach you. Am tempted? Sima Yue had never learned any underworld techniques. Even when she was with her cousin, she had never thought of learning this. Now that she suddenly heard him say this, her heart was itching, and she wanted to try out the underworld technique. However, if she had to call him master, then she would rather not learn it. I can't even use my spiritual energy now. How can I learn it? I think you'll be gone by the time I recover my spiritual energy. How about this? You write down the method of this underworld technique for me, and when I recover my spiritual energy, I'll follow this method to learn it. How about that? Nothing much. This underworld technique of mine can only be passed down orally. It can't be recorded in a book. Mou said. Furthermore, I've checked your body. Although your rare light devil body makes it difficult for you, it's not without its benefits. For example, at this moment, your spiritual energy is sealed and you can't use it. Then you can use your dark spiritual energy. It'll work too. That works too? Sima Yue widened her eyes. She had never thought of this problem. You've always sealed your dark energy, because you thought that your body wouldn't be able to take it. So after your spiritual energy was sealed, you didn't think of releasing your dark energy, so naturally you didn't think of this method. Mou said. Sima Yue agreed with what he said. She really didn't think of this point, so she never thought of releasing her dark energy. Mou's words moved her. The days without spiritual energy were really boring. But at the same time, she was a little worried. If she released the dark energy, would something unexpected happen? For example, her body wouldn't be able to withstand it. She told him about her worries. Mou chuckled and said, "You were afraid that you couldn't bear it before because the two powers conflicted with each other. But now the situation is different. Your light power is equivalent to having no light at all. Naturally, there won't be any conflict." Really? I'll go back and give it a try. Sima Yue chuckled. But even so, I can't call you master. You don't have to come to a conclusion now. Once you understand the power of this grasping spirit technique, you will naturally want to learn it from me. Mou said confidently. If you are willing to call me master when it comes to tea ceremony, then I don't mind calling you master too. Sima Yue said. After all, we are talking about tea first. You can call me master first. Calling her master? How is that possible? Do you know how many people in the ghost realm want to be my disciple? Now that I've given you this opportunity, you don't want it. Then you don't know how many people in the human world want to be my disciple? Now that I've given you this opportunity, you don't want it either? Sima Yue retorted. What a sharp-tongued girl. All right, let's get down to business first. You can also show off your grasping spirit technique. Maybe it's too powerful, and it will attract me, she urged. Then watch carefully. This grasping spirit technique is not only useful for the soul in the body, it is also useful for all the souls in the world. Mou said. Then isn't it comparable to the grasping spirit technique? Sima Yue said in astonishment. The grasping spirit technique here was not used to train her own soul, but was a method of refining the soul of the ghost clan. You know about the grasping spirit technique? I mentioned it to the people from the ghost clan in the immortal land. Sima Yue casually explained, is your grasping spirit technique the same as the grasping spirit technique? Of course not. Mou denied. My grasping spirit technique is mainly used to control their souls, allowing me to use them when their consciousness is awake. This is a more legitimate underworld technique. But the grasping spirit technique is different. What's the difference? The biggest difference between the grasping spirit technique and the grasping spirit technique is that the grasping spirit technique will retain the consciousness of the soul, while the grasping spirit technique will completely erase the soul's consciousness, turning them into walking corpses. Mou explained. Aren't they both used to control the soul? To those souls, they will lose their freedom. There's no difference. Sima Yue said. Of course it's different. Once the grasping spirit technique is stopped, those souls will regain their freedom. But the souls that have been refined by the grasping spirit technique will not be able to do so. Mou retorted. But since you've already started to control those souls, those who practice the grasping spirit technique, even if it's someone like you, won't let them go easily. Sima Yue guessed. If that's the case, what's the difference? That's where you don't understand. Do you know what's the most common in the ghost realm? It's not the ghost clan, but the souls. Mou said. If you learn this, you'll have a lot more power in the ghost realm in the future. Even without this, I have a way to deal with those souls. Sima Yue snorted. The 100 ghost banner in her hands was the biggest nemesis to those souls. No matter if you were grasped by the grasping spirit technique or refined by the grasping spirit technique, as long as you meet the 100 ghost banner, you'll have to surrender obediently. Of course, she could not let him know about this. What can you do? Mou did not want to believe her words. You'd better learn the grasping spirit technique from me. Watch carefully. He came in front of those corpses, waved his hand, and a ripple appeared on his body, as if the power that restrained the souls had disappeared. Sima Yue could see faint shadows slowly appearing, and seeing that they were about to go to the ghost realm, Mou formed a seal with both hands, and those souls stopped moving. How is it? He asked her. Not bad. There's a rule for souls to go to the ghost realm after death, and you can actually make the souls resist this rule. This shows that you're really powerful. Sima Yue said. But this won't help us in investigating this matter, right? The newly formed souls did not have much power, and those souls looked very ignorant, not knowing that they were already souls. You're not thinking of interrogating their souls, are you? Sima Yue asked. I've heard that after people go to the ghost realm, they won't remember what happened before they died, and it's equivalent to starting from scratch. Even if you capture their souls, you won't be able to get anything out of them, because they don't even know what happened before. Who said I'm going to ask? If you don't ask, then how are you going to get the information we want? Just wait and see. In your words, the time to witness a miracle is coming. Your arrival is the greatest support for us. If you like it, then introduce more friends. Chapter 1253. When Sima Yue heard what he said, she couldn't help but break out in cold sweat. She had once said this when she was brewing tea, but now that it came out of his mouth, it felt weird. But she didn't have much time to think. Mou formed a seal with both his hands and rays of black light flew towards those souls, trapping them. Something that surprised him happened. Those souls slowly dissipated, turning into specks of light. Following that, scenes started to appear one after another. When Sima Yue saw those scenes and heard those people's conversation, she was completely shocked. She couldn't see those people's faces clearly, but she could hear their voices. They were actually saying that other than the Alchemist Guild and the Armament Master Guild, they were also planning to attack other guilds. But even so, there wasn't any more news about that force. It seemed like these people weren't any core members. But after getting this news, it was enough for her to digest for a while. Those scenes disappeared. Those specks of light also dissipated. This meant that these people's souls were gone, and they wouldn't have the chance to go to the ghost realm. How is it? Isn't this useful? Mou tempted. Do you want to learn? Sima Yue kept her thoughts and said, this is indeed powerful, but it's not useful to me. It'll be useful when you go to the ghost realm in the future. Mou said, you can't possibly go to the ghost realm to learn underworld skills. Plus you can use dark spiritual energy now. Why don't you learn it now? What you said makes sense, but I can't call you master. You haven't called me master when you're learning how to brew tea from me. Sima Yue was still conflicted about this. Don't you want to learn? Mou was about to lose his patience. She kept rejecting. He kept wanting to teach her. If she continued to reject, he would really have to promise her. I can learn even if I don't want to be your disciple. Sima Yue said. We can talk about tea ceremony. Naturally we can talk about underworld skills. Right? The two of them discussed for half a day. And in the end, Mou gave in and agreed to teach her underworld skills. But he wouldn't take her in as his disciple. If you become my disciple, when you go to the ghost realm in the future, no one will dare to touch you. Mou looked at her as if she didn't want to take advantage of it. Sima Yue smiled and said, when I go to the world of spirits and souls, you will be the same in the world of spirits and souls. I believe that if I ask for your help, you will help me. In the eyes of others, I'm from the Anaheim side. You and Anaheim have a child's enmity. Mou said. But you're not. Sima Yue said. But with your identity, you should know about my mother, right? I know a little, but I wasn't involved in what happened back then, so I don't know much. Then can you tell me what you know? Actually, it was the Ghost King who brought your mother back. After that, some people went to cause a ruckus and demanded that your mother be executed. But in the end, it seems like he was locked up. Sima Yue compared it to what Deja said. Both of them said the same thing. So it should be true. Then do you know where my mother is locked up? The abyss. Mou said. But I'm not sure. Cousin said so too, so it should be true. Sima Yue said. Seems like it won't be easy to save my mother. Even the Ghost King doesn't dare to step into that place. If you want to save your mother, you'll probably have to wait for another 1,000 years. Mou said. I won't let my mother suffer there for so long. Sima Yue said. I will save her. Mou saw her determined gaze. Although he felt that she wouldn't be able to do it, he believed her a little. If that's the case, then you should learn the underworld skills. When you get there, there will be very little light attribute spiritual energy. After using it, you won't be able to replenish it well. It's useless no matter how strong you are. I'll go back and tell them about this, then try to release the dark energy. If it's possible, I'll learn some underworld skills from you. Sima Yue said. The two of them returned to the city and went to find He Qindong. They told him about the news and asked him to inform the other guilds to be careful. Then they returned to their courtyard. If it wasn't because they came back from outside, no one would know that they went out. Sima Yue didn't confirm if He Qindong spread the news. With her current strength and identity, she couldn't care less. She asked Bai Sheng to send a copy of the news back to Heartbreak Valley, so that the people in Heartbreak Valley could be more careful. Then she sent a copy of the news to Heavenly Sect to Mao San Quan, and another copy to the Alchemist Guild and Alchemy Guild. The three powerhouses who received the news took it seriously, especially the Alchemist Guild. It clearly said that they would make a move on them. They didn't know if this move was referring to the alchemy competition, so they couldn't let down their guard. They had to strengthen their defenses. Heartbreak Valley and Heavenly Sect paid close attention to their surroundings, afraid that they would be dragged in by those powerhouses. After telling them the news, Sima Yue didn't need to deal with the other matters. So when everyone else was busy, she was free again. Mou left and she came to the Spirit Pagoda alone. I'll try to release the dark attribute spirit energy in a while, and temporarily replace the light attribute. If there's any danger in the process, you have to suppress the dark spirit energy. Sima Yue called all the beasts in front of her and warned. You don't worry. We won't let anything happen to you. Little Dream said. That's right, if there's anything, Qingyi is here. Little Seven agreed. In the entire Spirit Pagoda, or rather in the entire world, only she could order Qingyi around so confidently. Sima Yue sat cross-legged and sank her consciousness into her body. Following her meridians, she came to the Dantian. The dark energy had been moved to the Dantian a long time ago. Although it was sealed, it would still release dark aura from time to compete with the surrounding spirit energy. Now that the other powers were still like stagnant water, only the dark energy was still churning slightly. The heavenly Tao has sealed all the other powers, but this sealed power of darkness was overlooked. She sighed and left the Dantian. She found the place where the dark energy was sealed, found the crack in the seal and guided the dark energy out. Little Seven and the others looked at her nervously. They could clearly feel that her aura was changing. Slowly, it was enveloped by the dark aura. Then the aura was retracted. She was still the same as before, nothing had changed. Seeing her open her eyes, everyone anxiously asked, "Yu, did you fail?" Sima Yue smiled. With a flip of her right hand, a ball of black spirit energy appeared in her palm. Chapter 1254. Seeing the power in her palm, everyone's eyes lit up. Is this a success? Sima Yue nodded her head and directed her spiritual energy towards a place where there was no one. A crater was formed on the ground. If you don't have any underworld skills and only use spiritual energy, your strength won't be good, she said with some dissatisfaction. Didn't Mou say that he would teach you underworld techniques? Then let him teach you more. Little Roar, who was in Little Dream's embrace, suggested. We'll see. Sima Yue said, but I think I can fly now. She tried, and sure enough she flew up again. After circling once in the air, she returned to the ground and pinched her fingers, saying, "It's still better to have spirit energy in my body, that's for certain. Otherwise, why would I want to cultivate?" Little Seven said. "Alright, I'll head out first. When Mou comes, he will be able to learn the underworld technique." She went outside and began to practice controlling dark spirit energy on her own. Because of the spirit pagoda concealing her aura, as long as she didn't deliberately release it or use spirit energy, others wouldn't be able to sense her aura and wouldn't know that she had dark spirit energy again. Bei Gongtang and Ouyang Fei continued to refine pills for an entire day. Both of their success rates were very high, so after a day, they managed to refine over 100 pills. In the evening, He Chendong sent someone to collect the pills. He also told Sima Yue that he had already passed on the message to the other unions. Some of the forces that had an ordinary relationship with the refiners began to leave after 2 days. Only those who were more familiar with the refiners would stay to see if there was anything they needed help with. The Armament Masters Guild didn't ask them to stay either. The situation now was a little special. The people in the Armament Master City were getting more and more chaotic. If some of the people who weren't familiar with walked around, the pressure on them would lessen. Sima Yue wanted to leave as well, but Xiao Hong said that the people from the Sage Pavilion and the Wu clan had not left yet. The union was also very busy. If they left now, they could not guarantee her safety. They insisted that they stay for a while longer before leaving. Furthermore, they still wanted to ask Ouyang Fei and Bei Gongtang to continue refining some pills. Sima Yue discussed with everyone. They also felt that it was too dangerous to leave now, so they agreed with Xiao Hong that they would leave in a few days. Since everyone agreed, Sima Yue did not insist and agreed to leave after they were done with their work. After Mou came, she told him her plan. She originally thought that he would leave with the Jun family first. She didn't expect that he would directly inform the Jun family to go back by himself. He wouldn't be with them. Sima Yue saw that he made the decision without hesitation, and guessed that he had already guessed this before he came. "You've already released your dark spiritual energy?" Mou asked when he saw the faint aura emitting from Sima Yue's body. "If you can tell, I've already hidden my aura very well." Sima Yue said. "You did indeed hide it, so people who haven't reached my level wouldn't be able to discover it." Mou said. "Then let's start today. Other than the grasping spirit technique, I'll teach you some other underworld skills." Sima Yue looked at him cautiously when she heard what he said. "I already felt that it was a little strange when you said that you wanted to teach me the grasping spirit technique yesterday. Now you actually want to teach me other skills. Why do I feel that you have other intentions?" "Oh, tell me, what other intentions could I have?" Mou smiled faintly, not minding what she said. "If I knew, would I still ask you?" Sima Yue said. "You're so smart, can't you guess? You're an old fellow who has lived for at least 8,000 years. How can I guess what you're thinking?" Sima Yue said. "Why don't you just tell me directly? You're still saying that you're not smart. You've already guessed my age." Mou said. "Damn, it can't be? You're really that old." Sima Yue looked at him with her mouth wide open. She was just exaggerating just now. She didn't expect to get it right. No wonder this fellow could become a powerful being. If he really wanted to kill her back then, she reckoned that only Qing Yi would be able to save her. Look at me, am I old? Mou asked. Sima Yue nodded. Seeing his black face, she quickly shook her head and giggled. You're so young, hee. One look and I can tell that you'll always be a 16-year-old flower. Mou looked at her fawning face and stretched out his hand to flick her forehead. Actually, you're right. I do have other intentions when I teach you this. Sima Yue's attention was diverted. She didn't pursue the matter of him flicking her forehead. I knew that my instincts wouldn't be wrong. Why are you so eager to teach me underworld skills? Mou didn't say much. He only muttered, the world of spirits and souls is going to be in chaos. The world of spirits and souls could be said to be the most chaotic among the human, devil and ghost realms. There were more killings than the other two realms. It was because of this that the world of spirits and souls could accommodate countless souls. It was also because of this that the world of spirits and souls could never be saturated. Because there were too many deaths, the numbers that came later might not be enough to cover the number that died. When Mou said that the world of spirits and souls was going to be in chaos, it was obviously not a small matter. If the powerful being of the world of spirits and souls was concerned about it, it must be something big. Sima Yue had spiritual energy. Her hearing had recovered. When she heard what he said, she asked curiously, I'm from the human realm. Even if I'm going to save my mother in the future, it won't cause too much chaos, right? What does the chaos in the world of spirits and souls have to do with me? Why are you teaching me underworld skills? You'll know when the time comes. Mou kept her in suspense. Sima Yue rolled her eyes at him and said, You're even learning from those divinators. Mou chuckled. When a person reaches a certain level, they can sense the heavenly Tao. It's not surprising that they can sense the future. This is different from what the divinators can predict. It's because of this that I can sense the chaos in the world of spirits, and your role in that chaos. He added in his heart. However, it was also because he could only sense and was not as accurate as the divinators. He only knew that Sima Yue was very important, but he could not predict her role in that chaos. Sima Yue knew about this situation, so she did not comment on what he said. Then when did you sense it? Did you not want to kill me from the beginning? Unexpectedly, Mou shook his head and said, Although we can sense some things, we can only sense it after we come into contact with it. I only realized it 2 days ago. Then can you tell me where the chaos came from? When and what's the cause? Sima Yue asked. Regarding this, Mou still shook his head. I can only see the fire in the sky, the endless mountain of corpses, and the rolling death aura. I can't see anything else clearly. Chapter 1255. Doting Wife. 5th Miss Miracle Doctor Chapter. Soul Control Technique Category. Wuxia Cultivation Author. Fan Elderwood Book Title. Soul Control Technique? Sima Yue blinked. It sounds like a very powerful netherworld skill. Please search for the most complete version. The fastest update. Of course it's very powerful. This is one of the top netherworld skills in the world of spirits and souls. How about it? Do you want to learn it? As long as you call me master, I'll teach it to you. Mou tempted her. Sima Yue had never learned netherworld skills before. Even when she was with her cousin, she had never thought of learning it. Now that she suddenly heard him say that, her heart itched. She wanted to try out the netherworld skill. However, if she had to call him master, then she would rather not learn it. I can't use my spiritual power now. How can I learn it? You'll probably be gone by the time I recover my spiritual power. How about this? You write down the method of this netherworld skill for me. When I recover my spiritual power, I'll learn it according to this method. How about that? Not much. My netherworld technique can only be passed down orally, and cannot be recorded in books. Mou said. What's more, I've checked your body. Although your rare light demon body makes things difficult for you, it's not without its benefits. For example, Right now, your spiritual power is sealed and you can't use it. You can use your dark spiritual power. It'll work. That works. Sima Yu's eyes widened. She had never thought of this problem. You've been sealing your dark power because you thought that your body wouldn't be able to bear it. So after your spiritual power was sealed, you never thought of releasing your dark power. Naturally, you never thought of this method, Mou said. Sima Yue agreed with his statement. She had never thought of this point, so she had never thought of releasing the power of darkness. She was a little tempted by Mou's words. Days without spiritual power were really boring. However, at the same time, she was a little worried. If she released her dark power, would something unexpected happen? For example, her body wouldn't be able to bear it. She voiced out her worries. Mou chuckled and said, "Previously, you were afraid that you wouldn't be able to bear it because of the conflict between the two powers. However, the situation is different now. Your light power is as good as nothing, so naturally, there won't be any conflict." "Is that so? Then I'll go back and try." Sima Yue chuckled. "Even so, it's impossible for me to call you master. You don't have to come to a conclusion now. When you understand the power of the soul carving technique, you'll naturally want to learn from me," Mou said confidently. "If you're willing to call me master during the tea ceremony, then I don't mind calling you master," Sima Yue said. "After all, we're talking about tea first." "Let's hear it first. Call her master? How could that be? Do you know how many people in the ghost realm want to be my disciple? I'm giving you this chance now, but you don't want it. Then do you know how many people in the mortal world want to be my disciple? I'm giving you this chance now, but you don't want it either, do you?" Sima Yue retorted. What a sharp-tongued girl. "Alright, let's get down to business first. You can also show off your soul carving technique. Maybe it's so powerful that I'm attracted to it," she urged. "Then watch carefully. This soul carving technique is not only effective on the soul in the body, but also on all the souls in the world," Mou said. "Isn't it comparable to the soul carving technique?" Sima Yue asked in surprise. The soul carving technique here was not referring to her training of her soul, but a method of refining souls of the ghost clan. "You know about the soul carving technique?" I mentioned it to the ghost clan when I was in the immortal realm," Sima Yue explained casually. "Is your soul carving technique the same as the soul carving technique?" "Of course it's different," Mou denied. "My soul carving technique is mainly used to control their souls, allowing them to be used by me while their divine senses are awake. This is a more legitimate netherworld technique. But the soul carving technique is different." "What's the difference?" The biggest difference between the soul carving technique and the soul carving technique is that the soul carving technique will keep the soul awake, while the soul carving technique will completely erase the divine senses of the soul, turning them into a walking corpse, Mou explained. "Aren't they both used to control souls? For those souls, it's a loss of freedom." "There's no difference," Sima Yue said. "Of course it's different. Once the soul carving technique stops, those souls will regain their freedom. But souls that have been refined by the soul carving technique won't work," Mou retorted. "But you've already started to control those souls. Those who practice the soul carving technique, even if they're like you, won't let them go easily." Sima Yue guessed. "If that's the case, what's the difference between having it and not having it?" "You don't understand. Do you know what's the most abundant in the ghost realm? It's not the ghost clan but soul bodies," Mou said. "If you learn this, it'll be equivalent to having a lot more power in the ghost realm in the future. Even without this, I have a way to deal with those souls." Sima Yue snorted. The 100 ghost streamer in her hand was the greatest nemesis to those ghosts. Whether they were captured by the soul carving technique or refined by the soul carving technique, as long as they encountered the 100 ghost streamer, they would have to surrender obediently. Of course, this was something she could not let him know. "What can you do?" Mou did not want to believe her. "You'd better learn the soul carving technique from me. Watch carefully." He came to the front of those corpses and waved his hand. His body emitted a ripple, as if the power that had previously bound the souls had disappeared. Sima Yue could see a faint shadow slowly emerging. Just as it was about to head to the ghost realm, Mou formed a seal with both hands, and those souls froze in place. How is it? He asked her. Not bad. There is a rule that souls go to the ghost realm after death, and you can actually make the souls resist this rule. It shows that you are indeed powerful, Sima Yue said. But this is not helpful for us to investigate this matter, is it? The newly formed soul body did not have much power, and those few souls still looked very ignorant, not knowing that they were already a soul. You are not thinking of interrogating their souls, are you? Sima Yue asked. I once heard that after people go to the ghost realm, they will not remember what happened before their death. It is equivalent to starting over from the beginning. Even if you capture their souls, you will not be able to get anything out of them, because they will not know what happened in the past. Who said I want to ask? If you don't ask, how are you going to get the information we want? Just wait and see. In your words, the time to witness a miracle is coming. Your arrival is the greatest support for us. If you like it, please introduce more friends to us. Chapter 1256. The rainbow-colored dendrobium in his hand was gone, and the pain from his wrist made him very angry. You lowly commoner, do you know who I am? I am the alchemist under Venerable Su, Hua Kai. How dare you hurt me? Do you want to be arrested? The alchemist under Venerable Su? Don't joke around. How could there be someone like you under her? Sima Yue shook her head, not believing his words. You are just a lowly commoner. How would you know about Venerable Su? If you don't want to be arrested, then obediently hand over the rainbow-colored dendrobium. Then kneel on the ground and kowtow to me 3 times. Call me grandfather. Then I will let you go. Hua Kai raised his chin, looking like he was giving alms. What if I don't? Sima Yue sneered. Then I can only arrest you on the charge of looking down on Venerable Su. When the time comes, you will become slaves and never see the light of day. Hua Kai threatened her. The shop assistant kindly reminded her. Master Hua is indeed the alchemist under Venerable Su. Why don't you give the rainbow-colored dendrobium to him? Hua Kai raised his arrogant chin and turned his head to the side, waiting for her to give him the rainbow-colored dendrobium, and then kneel down to apologize. But after waiting for a while, he did not see any movement from her. He turned his head and saw that she had no intention of apologizing at all. She was taking out the herbs from the tray, placing them on the counter and asking someone to settle the bill for her. He could not tolerate this anymore. He was really angry. He walked to the stairs and called the guards downstairs, wanting to arrest them. At the same time he threatened, "Let me tell you, if I don't agree, they won't dare to sell the herbs to you." The shop assistant took the herbs and indeed had no intention of settling the bill. What right do you have? Sima Yue's face darkened. After meeting such a person, she lost all her mood. Just because of my identity and your lowly commoner status. Since you are here, you should be aware that lowly commoners have no right. Hua Kai looked at her change of expression with satisfaction. These people looked down on Venerable Su and spoke rudely. Arrest them. When the guards who had just arrived heard that these people were looking down on Venerable Su, they didn't ask anything and immediately came to arrest them. Wu Lingyu would not allow anyone to touch Sima Yue. He moved as soon as they moved. Before those people could get close to her, they all fell to the ground. Everyone was dumbfounded. They didn't even see how he moved. They only felt that he disappeared for a while. How did everyone fall down? When the shop assistant saw this, he moved his lips, but he felt something stuck in his throat, and he couldn't say anything. Do you still want to buy it? Wu Lingyu looked at her and asked. Yes, why not? Sima Yue calculated the total price according to the price she saw before. She took the crystal and put it on the counter. Then, she put away the herbs and left. Only after they left did the crowd react. The guests left one after another to avoid being implicated. The shop assistant didn't dare to leave. The shopkeeper personally came to apologize. He said a lot of things and gave the shop assistant a lot of things before the shop assistant left. It was tiring to meet someone who wasn't afraid of death. If a few more came, they would go bankrupt. What's the background of those people? They don't even put Venerable Su in their eyes? The shop assistant was puzzled. He saw clearly just now that these people didn't have the slightest fear when they heard Venerable Su, nor did they submit. They really didn't put Hua Kai and Venerable Su in their eyes. What kind of background and strength did they have to be able to look down on everything like this? No matter what background they have, they're not people we can afford to offend. The shopkeeper said. These people didn't look like ordinary people. If they met them in other places, they would treat it as a good show. However, when they met them, they could only feel stifled. Shopkeeper, Master Hua won't come looking for trouble with us, right? The shop assistant asked. No, we're Venerable Nio's shop. Although the accident happened in our shop, we've apologized. The two venerables don't interfere with each other's business. If they want to cause trouble, they have to think twice. The shopkeeper said, send someone to investigate the background of these people. Yes. He still had to find a chance to get back today's losses. Sima Yue wasn't in the mood to shop anymore. She walked around for a while and went back. Soon Venerable Su's people caught up and surrounded the entire inn. These people came so quickly. Fushi curled his lips. I wanted to go out and check on Silmer's situation, but I didn't expect to attract Su Wu's people. Sima Yue sighed. Then let's fight back. Wu Lingyu said. It's a waste of energy. Sima Yue didn't want to fight. They've already come knocking on our door. It's not up to you to decide. Fushi said. That's true. Then let's fight all of them away. Sima Yue sighed. In the end, it was Wu Lingyu who attacked. Dozens of guards were all sent flying, attracting the attention of the entire Minghai city. Previously, only a few people had seen what had happened. Now everyone knew that there was an audacious person living here. They actually dared to send all of Su Wu's people flying. These people didn't want to live anymore. When Di Jujio heard the news, the corner of his mouth couldn't help but twitch. This little ancestor, if you want to save someone, you have to keep a low profile. Now that you're so high profile, they'll be on guard. But what could he say? He couldn't say anything. He could only lead his men to protect the inn. No one was allowed to come close. Sima Yue was very satisfied with Di Jiujio's actions. Since they were already high profile, then they should be even more high profile. She changed her plan of secretly saving someone, and prepared to go directly to their door to ask for Silmer. Di Jiujio was a little surprised when he heard her idea, but he quickly accepted it. He even gave her advice. This Silmer likes delicious food. If little princess can impress him with delicious food, it's not impossible to ask him for Silmer. It seems that foodies are everywhere. Sima Yue sighed. Moreover, Silmer and Su Wu's relationship is very bad. Now that you're on bad terms with Su Wu, you can also get some points from Silmer. We can't be sure about the relationship between these old guys, but I can consider eating. Sima Yue said. It's said that he often goes to the time in the north of the city to eat. The food there is the best there. Is there a pattern? No, he goes there whenever he wants. Usually there's a fixed interval. Then we can only wait here. When she said that, she didn't mean that she would wait in the inn. Instead, she would ask someone to wait outside Silmer's room. Once he went to the time, she would go with him. Then she would find a way to talk to him and get closer to him. This was the first time she used food to seduce someone. She was very confident in her culinary skills. She just didn't know if the people in the abyss of hell were as easy to seduce as other people. Chapter 1257. Read 336. Just as Sima Yue was about to go crazy, the sound from the sound stone finally disappeared. This guild leader is really something. It's been so many years, and you're still not serious. Uffed. Xiaohong laughed even harder when she saw Sima Yue's reaction. She couldn't stop laughing while holding her stomach. Yue, I've seen the president of the Alchemist Guild before, but I didn't expect him to be so funny. The way he talks to you, ha ha ha. Alright, stop laughing, Sima Yue said weakly. Do you know about the alliance that the president mentioned? I know. Moreover, I plan to follow my father to take a look. Xiaohong said. Since her identity was already known to everyone, she might as well stop pretending and openly admit her identity as the guild's young miss. You're going to? Yeah. Xiaohong nodded. That dark force has provoked the major guilds time and time again. We have our temper too. Moreover, we are not to be trifled with. This time, the trade unions have decided to retaliate, so they have decided to join forces and find out who is behind this. This was clearly her father's succession ceremony, but these people had messed it up. In addition, the previous president had been very good to her and had watched her grow up. However, he had been killed by those people. Now she hated those people to the core. Of course, she would participate in such an event. Since those people dared to touch your guilds, I think they have the guts to do so. Sima Yue said, and I think they also guessed that you would join forces to deal with them. To be able to make a move against you in such a situation, I think the other party's strength must not be simple. My father said the same thing, Xiaohong said. But no matter who they are, even if they are from the hidden families, we will not let them off. Yes. If you find out, you can call us if you need help. Although my Heartbreak Valley was established not long ago, we can still provide manpower to make up the numbers. Sima Yue said. What do you mean by contributing manpower? Do you think I don't know about Heartbreak Valley? All of you are brave and good at fighting. If you really need people, your people's battle power is definitely enough to fight against 10 people. Xiaohong smiled. Since President Xia invited you, why don't you come with us to Red Tinted City? Me. Sima Yue thought of Xia Changtian and quickly shook her head. No, I still have to go back to Heartbreak Valley. I heard that the Sage Pavilion and Wu's people, they're waiting for you to go out and kill you to kill them to kill you. Xiaohong said to say. Once you leave the Armament City, they won't give us any face. If you can come with us and see that my father and the others are here, they might restrain themselves a little. It's okay. They want to kill me, but I want to kill them too. Sima Yue said. Since she was now able to use dark spiritual energy, this little realm would naturally be able to be opened. There were hundreds of thousands of Blood Fiend City's citizens inside, and all of them were fugitives. Would they still be afraid of the Sage Pavilion and the Wu clan? At this moment, Baixing opened his mouth and wanted to say something, but he swallowed it back. However, Sima Yue noticed him. Xiaohong still wanted Sima Yue to go with them, but Sima Yue looked at Baixing and said she would think about it. Then she went back. After Xiaohong left, Sima Yue looked at Baixing and asked, Old Bai, what did you want to say just now? If it's possible, we can go to the Eastern Ridge to take a look. Baixing said. What happened? Is it about Lu Liangkai? Sima Yue asked. With Baixing's character, if nothing happened, he wouldn't say something like that. Baixing nodded. A few days ago, I received news from the valley that something happened at the Eastern Ridge. The people we sent were all missing. Oh, that's weird. Sima Yue frowned. Heartbreak Valley's people were more powerful. Although they weren't invincible, it wasn't to the extent that there was no news at all. What's the valley's decision? Sima Yue asked. Valley Lord has already brought Fengji and the others over. Baixing said. Originally, Valley Lord told me that you don't have spirit energy, so I can't tell you about this. But now that you can use dark spirit energy, I think we can go and take a look. Also, Fair Eastern City where Liang Kai and the others went missing is not far from Red Tinted City. Sima Yue hesitated. If something really happened in Fair Eastern City, it might affect the guild. Although she said she didn't want to see Xia Changtian, that shameless old man, she still had feelings for the Alchemist Guild. Why would the Guild Alliance go to the Eastern Ridge? Sima Yue asked. Maybe it's because the Array Master Guild and Spirit Master Guild are in the Eastern Ridge. Baixing said. But we don't know the exact reason. Maybe it's related to Fair Eastern City. That's possible too. While discussing about the alliance, they're also dealing with Fair Eastern City. Also, I think the possibility is higher. Otherwise, they wouldn't choose such a nearby city. Sima Yue guessed. It was also because she had been learning dark skills from MOU for the past 2 months, and didn't care about the outside world. That was why she didn't know about this. Outside, This matter was already known by everyone in the continent. Then should we go? Fatty Chu asked. Since our people are also missing there, we naturally have to go and take a look, Sima Yue said. Do we go with the Armament Masters Guild? Sima Yue thought about it and shook her head. If they went with the Armament Masters Guild, wouldn't they meet Xiaochang Tian and the others directly? We'll go by ourselves. Also, before we go, we have to settle something, Sima Yue said. What is it? Everyone looked at her. Of course it's to collect some interest for old Bai, Sima Yue said. Aren't those people waiting for us to go out? Then let's go and meet them. Bai Sheng was stunned. He didn't think that she still remembered his matters, and the first thing she did after she recovered her powers was for him. All right. Then we'll pack up and leave. Let's leave tomorrow. I have to talk to Xiao Hong and Uncle He. All right. Xiao Hong and He Qindong knew that they were leaving the next day, and were very surprised. They wanted her to go with them. Seeing that she insisted, they could only let her be. But when they asked someone to send her back, she rejected them. The Armament Masters Guild was so busy. She didn't want to trouble them. More importantly, with outsiders present, how were they going to deal with the Sage Pavilion and Wu clan? So after saying goodbye, the next morning, she brought them to the teleportation array and went to the city outside. When they appeared in the city, the Sage Pavilion and Wu clan immediately received the news. Chapter 1258. You have so many tea leaves? You have so many tea leaves? Mo could not quite accept the mountain of tea leaves in his spatial ring. Who was the one who told him to drink less? I only have so many tea leaves. Sima Yue rubbed her nose and said a little embarrassedly, I naturally have less tea leaves for people I don't have a good relationship with, but I have more tea leaves for friends. Mo could not help but laugh. This lass was still so calculative. But since she was like this, it meant that she had accepted him. Sima Yue did not explain much. She took out a stone rubbing and placed it on her forehead. After a while, she took it off and said, All the knowledge I know about tea has been rubbed inside. These are all theoretical. You have to brew the tea yourself. This much tea leaves should be enough for you to drink for decades. All right. Mo took the stone rubbing and placed it on his forehead. All the knowledge drilled into his brain. When are you leaving? Sima Yue asked. I will leave after I send you back. Mo said. The Jun family sent news that the Sage Pavilion and the Wu family did not leave. They are waiting for you in the city outside. I can't send you back. Are you all right with that? No problem, Sima Yue said. Then let's go back. In order to not cause too much commotion in Weapon Refining City, Mo had been bringing her outside the city for the past 2 months. Then he would bring her back. With his strength, it was a piece of cake for him to not be discovered by the people in the city. Mo sent her back to the small courtyard. Coincidentally, everyone was chatting in the courtyard. When they saw them return, they all stood up. Mo put Sima Yue down and said, If there's anything, go to the Jun family for help. I understand. Although I don't know why you have to go back personally, and I know that you are very powerful, I still have to remind you to be careful, Sima Yue said. If there's any good tea, I will help you keep it. When the time comes, you can just send someone to get it from me. I will remember that. I will definitely get it from you, Mo said. I will wait for you in the ghost realm. All right. This time, Mo did not open a spatial passage. Instead, he directly tore the space apart and flew in. This method was similar to when Wu Lingyu left the immortal realm. After Mo left, Sima Yue walked towards the pavilion where they were sitting. Yue, has Mo returned to the ghost realm? Fatty Chu asked. Yes. Perhaps it was because of the separation, but her mood was not very high. We separated so that we can meet again next time. Bei Gongtang comforted her. Yes, I know. I just felt a little sad for a while, Sima Yue said. By the way, Xiao Hong came to look for you twice in the past 2 days. She heard that you were in seclusion and said that you will inform her when you come out, Wei Ziki said. You said that I was in seclusion. Would she believe such an excuse? Sima Yu's mouth twitched. Why couldn't these guys think of a better excuse? When Xiao Hong came, only Fatty was there. Fatty said that, so we can only continue talking about this. When Sima Yulin said this, there was a smile at the corner of his eyes. Fatty Chu glared at him and said, when Xiao Hong came, I didn't know how to deal with her at all. When she asked where you were, I just blurted it out. Then she didn't say anything? Sima Yu sighed. Fatty's mind hadn't changed much after all these years. He was still the silly boy from before. She seemed to have muttered something at that time, but I didn't really listen. Then she said that she left, so I didn't investigate further, Fatty Chu said. Sima Yu shook her head helplessly. Xiao Hong was probably muttering that she didn't even have spiritual power, so how could she be in seclusion? She took out the mother-child stone and injected spiritual power into it. Soon, Xiao Hong's voice came from the other side. Yue, you're out? Yes, I just came out. They said that you came to find me, and told me to inform you when I come out. Sima Yue could tell from Xiao Hong's tone that she obviously didn't believe that she was in seclusion. Then I'll come and find you in a while. Xiao Hong cut off the connection after saying that. Sima Yue heard that her voice was a little anxious. After a while, she saw her coming in from outside. Yue. Xiao Hong walked over, and only calmed down when she saw Sima Yue. Why are you so flustered? What happened? Sima Yue asked. The other guilds have been attacked by a group of men in black for the past 2 months. Xiao Hong revealed a shocking news the moment she arrived. What's the result? Because we informed them in advance, they made preparations in advance, so those men in black did not gain the upper hand. But because of the hasty preparation, although they withstood the attack, it wasn't as obvious as our victory, Xiao Hong said. After she said that, everyone heaved a sigh of relief. If any of the guilds were to be controlled, it would be a very troublesome problem for the continent. Those guilds sent people to thank us. When they knew that you informed them in advance, they all said that they wanted to thank you, Xiao Hong said. They sent people to thank you, but you were in seclusion. In addition, every guild has their own matters to attend to, so they left behind a thank you gift and went back. Here, these are their thank you gifts. Xiao Hong took out a few space rings. Sima Yue took a look and was overjoyed. There were really a lot of good things inside. Perhaps because they knew that she was an all-round genius. In addition to elixirs and spirit equipment, there were also some rare raw materials in the thank you gifts. There was also a sound stone left by Xia Changtian among the thank you gifts. Sima Yue passed the sound stone to Beigong Tang and asked her to input her spiritual energy. Although she could use dark spiritual energy now, she didn't want Xiao Hong to know, so she could only find someone else to do it for her. Yue, you heartless person. You left for so long and didn't even come back to see us. Have you forgotten about us? The moment Xia Changtian complained like a little wife, everyone in the courtyard burst into laughter. Yue, is this really the president of the Alchemist Guild? Sima Yu's mouth twitched. She really wanted to say that she didn't know him. However, if you didn't send the news back in advance, we would have been tricked by that group of people again. So Yue, you still have a guild in your heart. The others couldn't stop laughing. Sima Yue face-bombed, speechless. All right, don't look so helpless. Xia Changtian seemed to see her helpless look and said, I came to find you this time because I have something important to tell you. Sima Yue heard that his tone had changed and thought that he really had something important to tell her. In the end, what he said next completely made her kneel down. After this incident, a few guilds are very angry. If we don't show our might, they will really think that we are sick cats. So we decided to join forces and fight back. After some discussion, a few guilds decided to form an alliance and discuss things in Dongling Hongxiu City. Alright, the important matter that I want to talk about is that I will personally go over. If you miss me, you can come and find me. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference. as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.